shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, here the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Bless.
Crumb TV.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, here the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Best.
From TV.
I almost played that 3 times. You know what I'm talking about? I almost played that 3 times, man. We might just do a whole show where I just played a song, bro. The shit hit harder. What song you know hit harder every time? It's not that it hits hard every time. It hit harder every time. That's a classic. That's when you know you got you a classic. That's when you know you got you a classic, man. God damn. I don't even know what I swear to God. Wallahi. I don't even know what I was doing when I recorded that song. Dead ass. Still trying to remember, where did I record that? What was I thinking? That was one of them portals. That was one of them. My question is this, though. I want to ask y'all this. Do you think that song needs a video outside of the video that I play? I've been trying to create another. Should that even be tampered with? Damn. Does that needs a visuals, right? That needs a real visual though. Yeah. That needs a real visual. Yeah. Today I just want to start it out by saying my heart is very heavy. If I do break down and start crying, you know. Man, my dude, Yuda, King Yuda. It was the song Red Opals. Man, he loved that song. You feel me? Yeah, this one is heavy, you know? And like, I don't perform that much. So whenever I do perform, I just want to perform because I know the people that rock with the music, I just want them to be there when the performance goes down. So it's like, it ain't even about being on no rolling loud. It's just rocking out with the fam there because this shit is about it's about making moments, making experiences, you know? And I just know that he was really tapped in. So the fact that he won't see this being performed is crazy. Yeah. But the lesson of the day is that we don't know who is suffering. We don't know who is going through things. Tap in with your people. That's why, even with me hitting the road like this, like I'm so like I'm about to hit the road tonight to go to this ceremony, and the timing of it is only right. You know, the timing of it is only right because I know that there's a lot of work to be done on the other side, and a lot of people are going to the other side. You feel me? And it's you know, of course, there's you know, the human side of you don't want that to be, but you know, that's what's happening everywhere that you look. And then when that shit hit home, when it hit somebody that you close to, like, you know, that's when that shit hit. So Pluto is going retrograde. Pay attention. Pluto is going retrograde. And y'all see what's going on with this thing coming out of where? The Andes, right? Coming out of where? Argentina. What are you talking about, Red? The virus. Okay? The virus originating on a ship that came out of the what? Patagonia. Right? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it tonight. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I promise you. There is a lot going on, and we got to get to it. The best thing that anybody that I know to rock with me will always want me to do is continue to keep the fire burnt. We feed off of each other. We build off of each other. We inspire each other. We're each other's charge. You feel me? I got a warrior on the other side. I know the type of work that Yuta puts in, and I know how he felt about me. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't play about me or Blue. So we got a whole spiritual army on the other side. You feel me? And the timing is perfect. I'm going and I'm tapping in this strong end, and I'm gonna go talk to my bro, and I'm gonna make sure that he good. And whatever we need to do for him, we gonna do it. You know? The eagle has landed on some scorpion shit. You know what I'm talking about? Because this shit is about life and death. It's a cycle, Michael. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody that you've seen in this dream, you will definitely see them when your ass is awakened. So don't even get choked. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, sometimes I have to release. But yeah, I understand what this is. I'm fully aware of what this is. Those that you see when you're asleep, you're going to see them when you're awake. And do the shit that you need to do whilst asleep, because those that you think are asleep are really awake looking at your ass while you're sleeping. Man, guess what rabbit hole I wind up going down? Ah, man. So I was on the show. I was on 363 Empire, and the conversation came up about the Hulu documentary about Nature Boy. He asked me if I saw it. I said I did not see it, right? And I said I was about to see it, and then Hulu was trying to shake me down for some bread and whatnot. And I was like, emphatically, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? I ain't doing it. You know what I'm talking about? And I played the miser, you know, for no reason. However, there was a mention of a YouTube documentary from Hood Horrors, right? Hood Horrors. Now, if my memory serves me correct, I think Hood Horrors is the same platform or the same channel that I that I saw another documentary. Let me make sure. Okay, let me make sure that Hood Horrors is up. Yep, yes, it is. Lo and behold, Hood Horrors is the platform that housed another classic that I saw. And that classic happens to be the Polite series. Okay. W's in the chats for the micro series that they got right now. The conscious micro drama, what you would call the micro series, because it's different parts. And I'm standing on this, right? I'm gonna say this, and I'm about to bring a surprise. guests up in this building and whatnot. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to stand on the 10 toes that YouTube, right? Independent media on YouTube, the production and the content beats traditional cable and them streaming services. They do what they do with those documentaries and whatnot, but I haven't seen I've seen things on YouTube that beat all of those Netflixes and everything. They don't go deep enough. But this 50-part special, oh my goodness. Yes. You know why this thing is effective, and you know why I'm hooked. I'm invested. I'm locked in, right? It gave you the psychological profile that if we were to be 100% with ourselves, if we were to be totally honest, I think that everybody deserves that coming into, if you were to stand in front of the people, if you are going to present yourself, your story should be told in that same exact manner, not literally as an expose, but as a psychological profile as to who is the people who are standing in front of us and what's their origin stories. I need to know these things because the first 30 minutes of it, I completely understood what was happening, what I witnessed over the years. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want to bring to you a special guest that we have in the building. It's only right that the Wonder Twins activate on an episode like this, on a day like this, at a times like this. Our brother, none other than Blue Pillar 44 in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Let's go with you.
Peace, love, and light at your service. Brother Blue reporting live and direct to you. I couldn't let you do this by yourself.
Yes. Indeed. Definitely. I'm so glad that you tapped in. Before we say anything about the information and go down that rabbit hole, I do want to give you the opportunity to share any light on our good brother. I'm gonna pull his image up so the family could see his face. You know, that's very important to see his light the same way that we saw it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely mandatory. As I stated in the post earlier, when we eulogize, people who have recently made transition, we're bearing witness and we're sharing testimony to speak on behalf of being an entity in the first 72 hours of their transition, and things that you bear witness to should be said about them. And if you have anything nice to say, this would be the good time to say it. It's when it matters the most.
I've been looking through my telepathic lens.
Yes, and then in the honorary ancient traditions, the heart will be weighed against the feather. So it's not on us to judge a person's service through this life because you don't know what their contract consists of. Our brother had a short run at life, but he left a very large impact in terms of his footprint. He was always at the forefront. He was a trailblazer, as I said. The very first person that I knew that encased and bottled a hemp beverage right around the time, because he did it before the Farm Bill.
Right.
And he was a pioneer that was pushing the envelope as an advocate for hemp as a medicinal component. Of course, he burnt it down and everything, but still advocating for hemp and understanding that hemp has multiple use cases and utilities. Again, one of the main reasons why I even came to Georgia was to engage in hemp farming and to utilize hemp to build out my vision of Hempropolis. All things hemp. Hemp being one of the
Smoke and Grow Rich.
Right, Smoke and Grow Rich initially. So this brother was again an inspiration for those moves, for that insight, and he inspired on many levels in my personal journey. Also, what he did with, again, the oyster mushrooms as a vegan chef. What he did not only in the vegan chef space by making it very engaging and tasteful and finger friend friendly, finger food fr- fun and friendly, right? Because he's in a Miami base doing business again in proximity to other people who are close to us, such as our brother Teach, when he had the food truck out there doing
Mac and cheese.
the world famous mac and cheese. So our brother had the world famous vegan burgers and oyster mushrooms. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And our brother had the vegan pizza, and he was top tier. Once again, inspired me as well when I briefly was on my vegan pizza odyssey. I knew how good vegan pizza can possibly be if done right. And again, these are people who have shown me the ability to do things at a tier that is elite and beyond what any other competitor or competitive edge has to offer. Like when we say the oyster mushroom tastes better than chicken, that's not bullshit. And when we say that the vegan pizza tastes better than the best shit that you could get in New York, even for 99 cents or 9.99 if you choose to, we not BSing. Like it's all superior product. And these are people that you wish that billions of people can experience this for themselves and have their own judgment, if you will. So our brother had a lot of contributions in his short lifespan, and he made some monumental impacts. And again, I know that as the continuance and the odyssey of life continues, we carry those inspirations with us. We continue to honor our ancestors by embellishing and completing their incomplete works. So I know that, when I'm putting in, what I'm saying, that mega mix with them oyster mushrooms and
Right.
we do everything. It's going to be in honor of the people who paved the way. So rise in power, return in purpose to our brother Chef Yuda.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let me play this clip where he was going in.
Mhm.
I've been looking through my telepathic lenses. I see gold bricks, purple buds, mansions, Benzes. Legends never endless, smoking on forgiveness. Divine intervention in the Lord is my witness. I've been looking through my telepathic lenses. I see gold bricks, purple buds, mansions, Benzes. Legends never endless, smoking on forgiveness. Divine ambition in the Lord is my witness.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother was so mindful of spreading the love and incorporating everybody into the grand picture that he immortalized
Yes.
all of us first. You know what
First,
I'm
right.
saying? He
First
immortalized all
time
of
I
us
saw
first. And
myself on a
our,
beverage.
our name and likeness, name, image, and likeness, on beverages and showed us the commercialization of what Brandon can incorporate. Um, and yeah, we got to take this to the world now. It's on us.
So when I was able to see myself on a bottle, ladies and gentlemen, outside of all of the things that I do to make sure that I brand myself and, immortalize myself and, the ideas that I come up with as a visionary. When the brother showed me this for the first time and I saw my face on a bottle and then I cracked open that bottle, because it's one thing to see your face on a bottle, right? It's one thing to, huh?
It's one thing.
It's one thing for somebody to hand you a beverage and say, I put your face on a beverage, brother. You have a red elixir, a cherry elixir at every bar mitzvah. Then when you crack the top and you sip it, and it tastes like, I'm talking about, if Red Pill was a drink, this is what he would taste like. Pause. This is what it would taste like. Like,
Right.
I'm talking about my
Yeah.
cells lit up because it
Again,
wasn't sugar based. It wasn't like Kool-Aid and whatnot. These drinks were so alive that they only had a shelf life of 2 days. That's how you know that it doesn't have preservatives. The minute you open up, you better drink that thing because it is so alive that it will begin to ferment, right? This drink was the truth. And then he came with Blue Pill's drink. And then he came with KT. And then Bashir. And then so many people that he immortalized.
Right.
Mm-hmm. This, mind you, y'all, this is before you could do it on your phone with AI. None of that existed. This is 2022. And we were on that 19 Keys state to state tour with the brother as our sponsor. He was pulling up with us. Me and him drove from Atlanta to Baltimore.
That's right.
You
That's
feel
right.
me?
That's
AA
right.
had a drink. I think Mama Pill had a drink. Blue had a drink. Yo,
Yeah.
King Yuta and his drive, his smile, he was, you know what I mean? He believed in me and Blue. Like he was one of those
He
that
he
the conversations that we had when
he
we was
showed
on the
up.
road, tearing the road up together.
He
You don't
showed
know
up.
nobody till you hit the road with them, Blue.
He showed up.
He showed up.
He would pull up. You know what I'm saying? I
Facts.
remember I had a mushroom festival. We was out in Spartan, Georgia, in the sticks. He pulled up. He got there on the last day, but he pulled up. You know what I'm saying?
Nonetheless,
He was always showing up and showing support. We
always.
had the event at Industry, right? He pulled up for that. You feel me? We had many and plenty events. He would pull up. I seen him pull up to other people's event. He pulling up from Florida, right?
Florida.
He still
Right.
held down his multiple traps. He had a Tallahassee trap where he pulled up, and he was in that town, right?
And he's in
In the
Miami.
north, and then he was in Miami, holding down Plant Menage. So salute to a brother who poured everything that he had into this, the love of the life. And his love of life, it was electric, you know what I'm saying? And it magnetized many and plenty of people to, his radiance. So may that radiance be more radiant and may it magnify and, may it become, healing rays and may it expand these endeavors. May they multiply times a billion. You feel me?
Show.
And, yeah, man, the brother, an amazing spirit, amazing soul, amazing contribution. We love you. We thank you. In the journey, again, like I said, it only magnifies from here because we already bore witness. So why would it stop here? So salute to his family, condolences to his family. Um, and again, let's lift the brother up in spirit. You know what I'm saying? By just sending them that love and that light. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Indeed. Definitely.
And the
But
brother
yeah.
Dringo, well, yes,
Huh?
the brother Dringo as well.
Gringo as well. Yes.
Yes,
Definitely. You know.
you know,
So
um, just in that space, two brothers who, with their knowledge base in plant based
and
culinary arts, cuisines. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But so the exact nutritional profile for our people in this most southernest tip in Florida of all places. That's a lot of information that when it's missing, that's a lot that's missing. You feel me?
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, man, we really have to take honor and take stock of the days
A-
and the times that we're in.
Right. And when we pull up to Florida in June, we are going to livicate our time there. We're going to livicate the event, not dedicate, but livicate the event to both of our brothers, you know what I'm saying, in the spirit of health. We have our good brother Heru, who is doing monumental things in that field. We're going to make sure the Miami, Florida family who may be suffering from, suffering in silence, or know someone who is suffering, we're going to make sure that we go into that corridor with health as one of the, in the front leading, okay, and bring solutions to the family out there, and also keep the spirit alive, keep them brother spirit alive. We'll have some announcements, inshallah, when we do claws out there in June.
Because I saw footage of our good brother Yuta, the last poster. I guess he had posted,
Yes.
and he was honoring his whiz, just explaining how imperative and how important it is that if you have a queen in your life, you know what I'm saying, that you should protect that, hold that down, because she was
Yes.
him down.
She was
And in
holding him down, right?
the background, I could see a bottle of the olive oil extract. You know what
I
I'm
did
saying?
speak to him. Yes, I had the opportunity to speak to him. The strong end when I went to North Carolina. He was actually pulling up to Atlanta, and while I was on the way out, and I told him, I said, and he told me what was going on, his diagnosis, and I said, oh man, I got a brother in Florida that I you know what I mean. I'm thinking that I'm gonna hit him with it. He said, no, I already got that. I've already been tapped in, but he said that I got it late, and there's been an advance. I said, good brother, it's all good. You know what I mean? When I get back, we're gonna work everything out. I got some CMOS to get to you. I told him about A game. You know what I mean? I told him what you doing, and we
Yeah.
built. And that was about 14 days ago. And I got that phone call yesterday. Like I said, I've been sitting down ever since. I haven't really gotten up and done much because you know what I mean? I've just been in reflection. It just happens that Pluto was in retrograde. So, it's been a lot of heavy reflection, a lot of and for the good, you know what I'm saying? We're going through cycles right now. Facebook memory is showing me there's this 10-year cycle is strong. Oh my goodness, 2016,
Yeah.
2020 is
Yeah.
beat.
2020 overlay.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
Posted the footage today. Me and Ampool, we was in Miami, June 2020,
I remember
right?
that.
The Keys and all of us, we was running through there, and Yuta was there with us. He was presenting bottles. We was making content and footage for him right there on the spot. And again, he was just so vibrant and so happy, and everything was clicking. And again, we had this energy on us because we were being defiant to, what the propaganda machine was and how they was cranking it. And we was just standing on the living principle that if you live in life, if you live in health, if you live in light, if you eat a particular way, if you live a particular way, if your mind is set up in a particular fashion, you're
Right.
impervious. And
Hold on,
then
I'm gonna share that clip that you're talking of. I'm gonna
okay,
let them see it.
Life supply. During this time, peace, loving like brother Blue Port Lava. Peace, loving like brother Blue Port Lava, direct to you from Fountain Blue. You know what I'm talking about? While people is, popping bottles and live and what have you. You get what I'm saying? We're dealing with the liberty and the livation. That hemp blade. Oh yeah. I'm talking about that hemp blade with that sea moss. We talking about doubling up on the life supply. During this time when people are stupefied by COVID, we building up that immunity. That hemp blade and that sea moss, 2 certified immune boosters, both, right, known, proven to defeat the COVID. They got a lot of studies out right now dealing with the cannabis and the CBD, its effectiveness against COVID.
Where Pebbles at?
Sea moss make a major boost because people need that trace minerals in their body, but what better way but to wash down hemp blade. You know what I'm talking about?
What
Cool
better
in the
way
shade
to heal yourself,
hemp
black
blade.
man, and erase all that estrogen in your energy. You know what I'm saying? With some nice biscuits. Oh yeah, let's go clear out your blood as well, black man. Look, we gonna make righteousness sexy. We gonna make healing sexy. Oh yeah, look at this. Come on now. Right. Get it.
So boost immunity in the community. I'm talking about unity under one cap. CMOS. Hemp.
live. Oh my God.
Excuse me.
Damn. Hold on. Damn. Yo. I need a lifetime supply of this. No real shit. I need a lifetime supply.
And yes, excuse me.
Look, hold on.
Damn.
Hold up.
Fuck Fauci, Gates, Trump,
Fire.
right? Instead of recommending that BS, you need to order a million plus bottles of this, and we could contact trace and go door to door knocking
You
on
don't need
people's
no more
squares,
masks.
making sure that they get
You
some of
got
that hand
this, you
play.
don't need no more masks. You know the goodness out there. No, but that's it right here.
That's it, King.
That's it. That's it. I love it.
Yeah. Peace, love, and light, brother Blue Port, live direct to you from Fountain. Live direct to you from Fountain Blue.
You know,
Brother, pitch up real quick.
Yo, what's up, family? Plant Menards.
yeah.
Yo, what's up, family? Plant Menards. We in the building. Yours truly, Chef Yuta, bringing to you the world famous fried mushroom. We got it. World famous fried mushroom. We here late night, the late night vegan spot, South Florida. Pull up, we got you. My name's Chef Yuta, and we here to serve the community. That's right. And when you drip those wings, dripping with the lemon pepper sauce. Ooh, yeah, we don't toss them, we drip them. You heard? Then we got the spicy agave sauce. You heard? We don't toss, we drip. Come pull up, we got you. Plant Menards, late night vegan spot, South Florida. World famous fried mushrooms.
Boom.
Yeah, man.
Boom. You know?
God, you know, he kept inventing, he kept leveling up, he kept making, you know, new additions to, you know, just the legacy. Right. So
you heard me when I was looking at that Miami video. I said, "Where's Pebbles, baby face?" You went by shit, dead ass. Where's Pebbles at, baby face?
Yeah, man.
I was looking like Babyface Ray and them, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was
only thing missing was the shiesty.
2020 it was a different vibration. That was a 7-figure year, man. That was
Portal.
Yeah, that was
on some Bishop.
I still need a movie. Yeah.
Like Bishop and Cable on some that was the port. Yeah, like we went through a portal that year. We came, Kang the Conqueror and them, right? Type shit.
They will never understand what 2020 was, how many portals we jumped through, how defiant.
Remember when y'all was on that beach with
every grand stage just shutting the C-19 propaganda down. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, we offer our physical vessels to stand against that, to show you in real time that we impervious to any BS, right? Not the God body. No, the God body is no, none of that stuff works over here. You feel me? And not just it being a personal flex, but it's like, look, take this, take that, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go with your wits alone. Know that you did the work. And you standing outside with a sword and a shield, like, bring it. And you're gonna enjoy your life, and you're gonna level up, and you're gonna hit every motherfucking shot that you take in front of the world on the cross. And you didn't break, it did. So ironically, today, here they go with part 2. Now, I was walking this shit down in 2020 since January. Why? Because I was utilizing the site of having the 44s. It started popping up in my feed in December of 2019 in China. So I already knew what it was, right? I had the line on it, and I just left New York because they had a debate about
Jabberwockies. Yeah, let's say who it was. And shout out to my dudes in them. Brother and they were advocating for vaccines.
They were pro
Jabberwocky, right?
And was debating about it. Came into Harlem and was anti-Jabberwocky.
Who was it again?
It was RFK and his people.
Oh yeah, they had. Wait a minute, he debated RFK, right, and on the Sonetta stage.
But
That's how I know it's a, that's how I know it's a Twilight
yeah,
Zone.
so they had sent white boys who was anti, and they was the ones going up, and I was like, it's time to leave, right?
Right.
Like, oh, this shit thoroughly infiltrated, and I had just did a lecture opening up for Billy Carson when I was speaking about the Carter shop scale and the fourth industrial revolution. And I had understood via the Farm Bill that hemp would lead the fourth industrial revolution because you can integrate it with bits. Because I was already on my AI shit, knowing that the fourth industrial revolution is the merger of machine and man. Wasn't I saying that back in 2018 and doing lectures in 2019 on this? So I moved on rather than me just being a lecturer. I was like, let me act on it. Let me get on my farmy, right? And come to Georgia hemp farming so we can, because Giant showed me about biomass and how we can break down, the hemp into the oil and then
Right.
go crazy with it in so many multiples. But when I got down here, I got into CBD, and that thrust me into politics, which exposed me to the cannabis industry. And now today we are ambassadors of the first cannabis dispensary. Not the bookstore. I'm not saying that was the first hemp dispensary that we sponsored as well here in Atlanta. But now we're partnered with a company called it's not True Leaf because that's the name that keep popping up in my head. But they're the first dispensary, cannabis here in Atlanta, nonetheless. True Bliss. Yeah. So these were my intentions for initially leaving New York and coming down here December 21st, 2019. And I had an angle on the C19 because I was saying, I had quoted with the 44s and I knew it was about to take place. Remember, I was talking about the coronation. That
Right.
2019 is when we finished our 400 years of servitude since 1619, which they call critical race theory. But I'm telling you that for the Christian Zionists, it's coded because they knew that meant that the time was up and that you come into your jubilee or your coronation in 2020. That was the year of celebration and party. That's what we did. And that's what the people who were still subconsciously tapped in, Pisces, the people from the music realm, Trace, what's it called,
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez, right? My name is D Nice, DJ D Nice,
D Nice got his,
right?
yeah, he popped back out.
Verses,
Mm-hmm.
and it was still a festive time for the people who was into that level of festivity. You know what I'm saying? And then the money was flowing, and then you had white folks in kente coops and kente cloth, taking the knee in the rotunda. And all of this was based on your spiritual jubilation of coming out of your 400 years under subjugation. And now all you see is the remnants of that, where you have Christianity versus Christendom now. This is the new crusades, result of the fallout of you not taking your throne and them scrambling for it. So now they go straight Christian nationalists with their existentialism saying, oh, we want to go apocalyptic with it. Where else can we go? Right. And then the people who shouldn't be assuming that role jump right into that role and started genocidal wars. Right. And now they're scrambling for that identity while you over here about to go into a civil war over identity politics. So it's very interesting. Like I said, when I was tracking it in 2020, I told the people, I said, wait till it hits the ocean, because initially the energy that they was playing on was serpentine energy because that was the Chinese New Year. So I said, okay, the way for it to come from China over to America, it has to go by way of the water. So when it shows up on the water, y'all, it's about to hit the land. And what happened? It hit the princess It was a cruise ship called the Princess, I think, coming out of Japan, and it was 44 passengers that got it. And I was like, here it come. And on March 11th, it was announced on land. You know what I'm saying? So I had already at that point known what it was and what the play was, that it was nanotech, and they was utilizing nano gold. and we dealt with it from that perspective of that observation that it was a nano agent. But when you have a product that is a million nanometers smaller in angstrom size, which monatomic gold is, then again, you just deploy. You was just ready for the right moment, and we were ready for that right moment. And brothers like Yuda, brothers such as yourself, brothers like King Ma'at, who brought us to the land out in Tennessee, where we were able to get into the country, into Sarsaparilla Village, which they said was a underground railroad lane. In this village, it's an overlooking mountain. You could see Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, and I think Alabama, all from that particular mountain.
From that range, right? It was majestic.
Majestic.
And
getting us out in nature, giving us the ability, to have expansive thought, to have conversation free from eavesdropping, and where planning and scheduling and execution was taking place. And also, people on plant journeys and plant medicine getting in the right setting, you know what I'm saying, and undergoing the right mindset to take the journeys that was needed for them to get the healing that was necessary for the journey ahead. Because you got to go into the land of the sick and deal with the sick to bring them back into wholeness. And sometimes we was just doing it with our aura. Sometimes it was just you showing up with the confidence of being unapologetically optimistic that lifted, you know what I'm saying, other people's spirits. But it's like, they must be on to something. They're not scared. Everybody else is terrified.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So now that we got that out the way, we're here in 2026. There's a lot going on since the last time we spoke. There's been a lot of, I would say, there's been a lot of chapters in the book that have written themselves. And on this platform in particular, we've covered some of those chapters. However, two people reading the same book can read it differently based on perspective, right? And there's nothing like, a Pope Pablo, aka Minister Moreland, aka Blue Pillar, Mr. Law 44 interpretation. So there's a few events that I want to run through or run by you, especially considering I know that you've been prepping for your monumental magnus opus that you've been, working on. I won't even disturb you because I know you've been growing microgreens and honey, and I know as the produce grows, the information does as well, and the connections that you're making as well. So I just let you know, it's similar because you let the food grow, don't you? You don't go and pick it at it. You don't go into the garden and say, hey, you look under the thing and you see that the Brussels sprouts, you look at the broccoli growing, you see the microgreens, and then you go and pick it when it's time to harvest. And I feel like it's time to harvest some information, some fruits from you right now. We're gonna pick some fruits. We're in the farmers market.
Let's get it.
All right. So our first batch of apples that I want to bite into is what I call the Meta Gala, right? Not only I want to speak about the Meta Gala from proletariat, socialist, people's perspective, the fact that we're seeing, you know, the rise of the Chris Smalls and these pockets of worker class, and just based off of the politics that's taking place in this quote unquote administration, with the gutting of the civil rights bill, with all of the quote unquote you know, with the breadcrumbs that they're putting around, with their sprinkling and whatnot. Can you give us a perspective, a different layer of how to observe this quote unquote because this Met Gala went very viral on my timeline, and this was the first year that I saw so many think pieces that were aimed at this new sentiment that I'm beginning to see, where people say billionaires are evil, you know, really tying in Bezos with all of the, all, like, they were hitting so many points of the things that he has his hands into, his wife as well, the corporations that they're supporting, their blind support for Is It Real, the workers, the fact that they're gutting out these workers, and the rights of the workers, you know, all of these things hit the you know, it all culminated at the Meta Gala. So could we tap into that?
Absolutely. Um, First and foremost, so let's make an observation as to what the Met Gala is and where the Met Gala is.
Yes.
The Met Gala takes place at the Metropolitan Museum on Fifth Avenue. This would be, you know, on 82nd, 83rd, between 82nd and 85th Street, you know,
Yes.
would span the property of what's considered to be the Metropolitan Museum. Um, the gala takes place
Landmark.
out of the comedic wing, the west wing of the museum. The comedic wing, in particular, that holds the Temple of Dendura, right?
Pandora. Yep.
Which is the oldest cosmological calendar. And the center point of this particular calendar is, I would say, Het Heru, right? Which
Yes.
would be Taurus in this particular parlance. In the modern day time that we're speaking of cosmological terms, that would be Taurus on the zodiac, right? And we are in the Taurus season right now. Taurus represents Het Heru, or the cow. She also represents finances, right? But big money, institutional money, bank size money, right?
Yes.
Because her cohort is, or her connection would be Scorpio. Hence the fact that we just came out of the Scorpion moon. And
Yes.
the what you consider or call to be the Scorpio Taurus axis, the acronym, or the way that I can explain it is the sex, money, murder,
Right. That triad.
right?
And we have
That's
Pluto in retrograde too, sir.
so that's the Taurus and Scorpio axis is sex, money, murder, right? So you have it all right there in the gala. This is the announcing of, like how you said, we're moving into the Hunger Game phase, because it's no longer about you can't make money for these people. These people are everything that you say that they are, and are everything that you thought that they was, and more.
Right.
Right?
And more.
Yeah, and as they move into the consecration of the fourth industrial revolution, they have machines. They no longer need humans. People got on me when I told them back in 2018 and 2019 elections. I say, by the looks of what I'm seeing with AI, this thing is set up to not need y'all. It's to replace you, right? Because they're bringing in machines and they're bringing in automation, right? That's the whole concept of what the fourth industrial revolution was about. And they're going
And
from gas to eat to clean to energy to EV. So when I
right.
seen C19, C19 in 2020, and they said it was a global reset, I understood back then. I said the only way that you can upset and reset petro, you have to reset the petrodollar. Oh, here come crypto. I get it.
Right.
And now it has taken shape and form. So
Right. Two observations quickly.
inauguration,
The death of the exiting of the petro, or the exiting of OPEC, by the UAE that took place a few days ago, which is, just signaling the quote unquote, it's the death knell. It's the hitting of that bell that Trump got. It's the death knell of the dollar, right? The beginning of that. And no, please continue.
I mean, go ahead, because we're twins, so we're sharing the same brain, and you're hitting or you're giving the pre-context to what I'm about to say next anyway. So, but you're giving it context. So I'm like, continue, because I like how you're piling, on the facts.
Right. So the whole thing, especially the play by the Saudis that people should be able to see, is that they already said that they were exiting oil a long time ago. Henceforth, why they pivoted into AI and why they pivoted into entertainment and why they were pivoting.
Entertainment, right?
They pivoted into boxing, golf, and they bought EA Sports, ladies and gentlemen. They paid the most money ever for EA Sports. It was a reason behind that. AI is featuring prominently in this war, but Jeff Bezos being the head or the chair of the Met Gala in terms of like horsemen, Jeff Bezos is the industrial 4.0 face, because he brings in manufacturing, he brings in the robots, he brings in the drones. He's the face out of Elon, Zuckerberg, and Thiel or Musk. It's the Bezos horse or the Bezos face. He's the one who gives you industrialization with the machines on a job level. Remember, this is Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Amazon. This is one-day delivery. This is packages laser sharp. This is the bookstore that turned into the big warehouse thing. This is the place that housed people by the thousands, built logistics systems and all type of layers, utilizing data in real time, right? Efficiency through data. Now they have AGI, or they have Mythos, and they have these quote unquote super intelligent machines, clusters and whatnot. Because you also got Amazon in the cloud as well, AWS. They're the substrate for a lot of things taking place on all of those levels. That shit runs through their servers. So Bezos, as the face of this whole industrial new, like you said, they don't need humans anymore. Where you think they bring it? And then his new venture is called Prometheus. And what is Prometheus? Prometheus is a cash influx or an investment in multiple real estate properties across the United States of America that were gutted out factories and whatnot, that he's going to run as dark factories where robots and all type of AI will be working. A dark factory is they don't even got to turn the lights on. Pitch black at night is building, it could build a city, right? So that's Project Prometheus. That's Jeff Bezos' newest project. He got funding in the tombs of multiple billions of dollars. So my theory, and the way that I see it, when I saw the rollout of the data centers, and then I saw the rollout of the Neuralink, and then I know that they were saying that data is gold, but they need real, they don't need the data, the AI scrape the data on the internet. They don't need that data. There's two forms of data that they're looking for now. They want the data that's inside of like the Vatican Library. They want the data that's inside of the books that are in the real data that's in the universities, the real data that's in private collection, and the real data that's in like the text that they have not decoded. And then they need synthetic data from people's genome, the DNA. They need that real shit. So the data centers will be extraction centers like plasma centers are. But the difference between a data center and a plasma center is the data is going to be taking petabytes of your memories, your data. You know. But please continue.
Yeah. So when we look at what the symbolism is of billionaires taking over the Met Gala and sitting over, as Trump wants to sit over the Trump Center or the Kennedy Center and rename it Trump, and they want to sit at the center of all sporting events like Trump wants to for FIFA, right?
Like the emperor.
To do for the UFC, or they want to do for the WWE, or they want to do for tennis, or they want to do for golfing, right? All of these spaces of sports and entertainment, because now it is Maria Antoinette. You're gonna just what? Feed them bread. It's the circus now.
Yeah, feed him
They've
cake.
already they feed them cake. They've already automated the finances with the Clarity and the Genius Act bringing in stable coin. That people don't understand what's already happened and what's about to happen, and what
Right.
this is already. It's already in motion. It's
The
already in
substrate.
place.
Right, right. The layers have already been laid.
They've already been laid. So at the same time that, like you said, that they are ritualistically killing the petrodollar, which is needed and necessary for them to bring in the digital dollar, they're also laying all of the guardrails for them to do exactly that. So all of those particular acts that I'm speaking of, and then the legislation that kicks in January 1st, 2027, after the big beautiful bill was passed, and all of that is now, bringing down all of the social programs. So the unpacking of the civil rights bill was the last vestige of them unpacking the Great Society, right? So that's welfare, that's Medicaid, that's Head Start, that's the shit that goes along with voting, right? Everything that was given to people post April 4th, 4/4/68, when King was ritualistically martyred. But they're like, yeah, y'all not riding for the king. So we unpacking them, we're undressing them, we're taking everything, right? Remember, as I always said, Trump is Obama's doppelganger. He's there to consume everything that was done by 44, because that's his terror. There can never be a 44 again, right? This is the one that y'all missed, that we got so contemptuous about, pointing fingers, but we don't even understand what the threat is. These people are terrified of consciousness. These people are terrified of black revolutionary consciousness specifically, though. And they will do anything to keep that away from you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why there's such a visceral reaction to this Nature Boy situation. Let's talk about it. So again, with them making the proclamation at the Met Gala, right, of the fusion of entertainment and big money and politics. First of all, that's already where entertainment was at, but under the Democratic handle, it was always like, those was the people that they was responsible for throwing parties for them, or being their sponsors, or being their endorsers. They always
And went for
they always went and got the Democratic bag.
right. They got the Harvey Weinstein
Right?
trickle
So the
down bag.
same way that they had to bring in the social media titans, the same way that they had to bring in the technology titans, the same way that they had to bring in the corporate titans, the same way that they went and got what you call it, the Oracle dude, so they could bring in all of the movies and everything else in
Right.
line,
Paramount.
right? So again, this is also, is it real consolidating its power because of its stain on the global stage? They got to get everybody in lock and
Right.
step.
In line.
Who's
Right.
for it. They blend political parties. They're paying for both of them. It's their PR campaign globally to say, you know, we know that we stink on the global stage, but you can't say it, and come over here and take this picture with me. You know what I'm saying? So when
Right.
these come out in the future, they be like, but you were standing next to them. So now they got to get them under the deodorant.
Deodorant.
They still understand that the entertainers are still the left's or the liberals' last play. You know what I'm saying? That's the last hand that they got to play, you know, when it comes to touching the masses. But these are also the people that they got them in the scope, because they got files on them now. So they all playing a pressure game. Like Rihanna was under pressure. You think J&M wasn't under pressure? It's layers of pressure.
Right.
And everyone is being told to kiss the ring because it's a bigger play at hand. And they're going for the gusto. And the distraction is being distracted. But when that financial, when the digital play kicks in, right? That's why people are sitting back and they're like, yo, your man is playing the best Chen Gigante game possible. Because as much as people think he's slow and he's stupid, the technical maneuvering is taking place behind the scenes.
Right.
They're mounting to the billion-dollar plays that are taking place and the literal restructuring of financial systems for them to incorporate these digital plays when stablecoin comes in and they are able to tokenize everything, bro. You're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar market. And all of that shit runs through World Financial. All of that shit runs through US stable coins, which these niggas get percentages of. You're talking about, and all of this is to offset the national debt. So it's meant to run up in 100 trillions. You understand? And nothing can stop it. Because once again, we're in Taurus, big finances, in Aquarius, the technological age, the merger has to happen. You know what I'm saying? You might be upset with how it happens and who they running these plays through, but what's the alternative at this point? Because it's already in motion. And again, so everything that you see that's going on over there, yeah, that's
Right.
choking the pipeline, right? That is definitely disturbing the field. But over there, they also the main players in this digital currency game. Because all of that shit is, and they playing bully. Oh, you paying them in biddy, but you can't get through here. You know what I'm saying? All of that
And
is
also,
all of
right.
that shut down an economy that's already taking place. These niggas is already on the Silk Road doing their plays.
That's what I'm
They-
saying. And destruction opens up budgets. So the more destruction is happening, they're opening up more money that's allocated for the rebuild. So if you're tearing down something like the petrodollar that's old, you'll also tear down everything that's attached to it. So bombing a refinery, bombing certain areas and whatnot, that is only going to lead to something being rebuilt because they're already allocating money to rebuild whatever you.
So that's also what's happening on the financial market in terms of finances drying up because the UAE and the sheiks and them is pulling back on everything that they had outside
Right.
of it's on. So you see golf collapsing under its weight. You know what I'm saying? You see the airlines or they're going through it, but anything else that was promised, so you'll start seeing the data centers starting to get shaky. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Anything they said that they was gonna give them bread for,
They're going to pull back on.
they're pulling back because they got to keep that bread now at home for rebuilding and to go within because they got to still build back national morale and things of that nature.
So
So
for the brothers that are out there that's sharp, who know how to short companies and know where to put the shorts at and go, you know what I mean, and play that game, they'll be able to hit a few head cracks, you saying.
there's sharpshooters on our team that are specifying in that
Yeah.
that are aces in that particular field. So there's nothing but plays. Every single day there's a play. That's the beauty of this. That if you can, as Bitcoin Bully said, if you can take your heart out of it, your emotions out of it, and just see it for what it is, if you're in it to ride the waves, every time that you hit a bump, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get a lump if you know how to place your plays. And
Right.
again, there's people on the team that are qualified, and you can read the resume and see for yourself. So inquire within if that's what you are interested in, you know. But yeah, or if you're looking at it through our perspective in terms of decoding it and recoding it and pre-coding it, yeah, it's an interesting narrative that's playing out. When you saw King Charles, our 1114 doppelganger, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, King Charles is in the news at the same time as Boosie,
Yeah.
right? Our other doppelganger, and it's all related because this was, and I heard a lot of different accounts from people's observation of what that was in terms of a handover of power. They said that it was the last day of the of the corporation on 430, and that was interesting because that was also the 60th birthday of the Church of Satan. And I think that it should be clear to people that that's exactly what MAGA is, with
Right.
no hope. Or that's how they're reporting it in the news. They just ain't saying it like I'm telling y'all, but I've been told you. Right
I
now,
actually have a clip that I want to play in regards to the Charles visit. I was going to ask you all about that, but we could definitely pivot or segue right into it.
what's the chances though? Hold on, let me get on my shit because again, this was around the same time that y'all supposed to be getting the lecture. What's the chances that they would show up with the bell with 1944 on it?
Man,
I'm saying, what's my Kashi percentages? Like, what are the odds of these things?
what's your poly market odds?
What's my poly market odds, y'all? Run me up. Somebody run me up a tab. Somebody go to your chat and let's start asking this shit. What's the polymark chances that the number hits when it hits, and it's always a significant part of the narrative? So as they are changing the financial system, when did this financial system start? When did the petrodollar be given birth? It was technically given birth in the 70s, but as a reserve currency, that meeting took place in 1944 at Brentwood 44. And not only because it was in 1944, but there was 44 countries present when they made the US dollar what it is. And these are facts that you can Google. That's why I always used to say the US dollar is a 44 resonator, but so is Bitcoin. BTC is a 44 resonator, right?
Facts.
Crypto itself is a 44 resonator. I have the receipts.
Facts.
So, and what you think a blockchain is, my nigga? Let's cut it out. So anyway, that bell again, they're saying it represents, once because I always been saying 44 represents war and military. That's where we at, right? Clearly.
Right.
And they said that the bell came from a submarine from 1944.
Yeah. Name Trump.
Come on now. Come on now.
And then Charles said, "We'll ring the bell if you need us."
Now, remember your build about Charles in 2020? What role was he playing back in 2020 coming out of the UN?
He was the one who was responsible for Event 201. He was the one who basically called on the carbon being he made the call inside of the WEF, the World Economic Forum, to curb the carbon footprint by 50%. That was Project 2030. Because Project 201 is dealing with Project 2030. So when he showed up, that's when that shit popped off. That's when you had everything was tied into Charles when he was Prince at that time, talking at Davos and talking at the the World Economic Forum, and that's when they were rolling out DEI as a mandate, right? Because they were giving out these points. There's like a social credit system for corporations that they had to behave and they had to follow the mandates and they had to follow the rules. So they laid that
was mandating it.
BlackRock, right? BlackRock through Larry Fink and them. It was Fink, it was Klaus, and it was Philip. I mean, it was Charles, right?
Mhm.
They would have and he is Pindar. He's the Grand Dragon. He's the top dog, right? He's Himothy. That's why when they unveiled that portrait of it, it was in all red and whatnot. So he is the first. This was the first time that a king that he ever entered the USA as king. This is the first time that a king ever addressed Congress. The only other time a monarchy addressed was his mama. You know, remember this is Princess Diane's. This is her baby daddy. This is right.
Diane is
For everybody that's riding for 30 Diana.
This is right. I do.
That's that's the nigga
Yeah,
that's yeah.
yeah.
For all of the YNs is supposed to spend for for D block.
That's what they.
For all the fair, you know what I mean? Because Princess Diana was getting everybody that wears laces and you know what I'm saying, niggas that be wearing the Michael Jackson glove. For everybody that's spending for D block, that's the one that stained her. Yeah, that part. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's Ben 10, nigga. That's who pulled the hit. Him, King Charles, and Camille was his BM. He had cufflinks of Camille at his wedding. You know what I'm talking about? He had cufflinks of Camille at his wedding. Didn't even go and see his son when he pulled up, or his grandson in America. Them niggas was in Harlem though. At the Garden though. They pulled up to Harlem and they went to an outdoor garden, Blue. That was somewhat, yeah. They went to 9/11 Memorial. They did the whole ritual. They did the 9/11, they did the DC, and they did Virginia, where they basically, I think they went to Chesapeake, right? But they definitely hit Virginia where the charter started and whatnot. So they had to be there as witnesses. Him and Camille, they only need 2 witnesses. They didn't oppose of it. Trump played Camille. He showed that it was America, it was the Republic over them because he was disrespecting them at every shot. Crossed right in front of her. I think he patted homie on the shoulders. Like, he indicated all of the things. Giuliani goes right into critical. He was on life support right after the 9/11 visit of Charles. Feel me? Had his ass. He's on a ventilator now, but his ass went right to life support. The 9/11 mayor and whatnot. So, dude was inside of Congress. He's summoning the 2 Americas. He talked about the 2 Georges. I mean. He said King George, George Washington. He brought up a poem or a book called The 2 Americas. I mean, The 2 Georges. He was invoking all kind of shit. But yes, Blue, when they pulled that bell out, hold on. Let me pull. I don't think y'all even, everybody. My nigga pulled the bell out.
Come on
now. Come on. You can't make this up, bro. Like,
gold belt.
This shit is fire too. This shit, if I was on Team MAGA, I would have matched that with my kicks. If you got the Trump Air Forces, yeah. If you got the Trump dunk, my nigga.
Yeah. If I was MAGA, my drip.
You go to Johnny Dang, yeah, my
it would be crazy. Crazy, nigga. I would have that
crazy.
Nation fit. That shit would be on an awesome nation tee to go with the kicks. You gotta have the kicks in the watch. Yeah, you got
like the white boy with the with the Beijing bear who be saying
nigga credit score. With a gold, with the white cap with the gold trimming.
The white hat and the gold trimming.
With a Charlie button.
Ooh. Oh, with the Charlie button. Yeah, you could go full Mago on these niggas. What day do the 4th of July land on? You can step out for 250 for the 250, like it's the Shine comeback tour.
Yeah, so I was reading the comments. Somebody's like, "Yo, why Obama there?"
My nigga went full Obama. He went Timu Obama.
Yeah,
Barack Timu Obama with the starch suit and all of that with the bell underneath. Tell me New York ain't back. New York popping right now.
Shout out to the Knicks.
Shout out to the Knicks, baby. Talk about what we talking about. Yes, but let's check out this clip though. This is about that visit. We just to put some context to it. And y'all get your pens and pads out, man. And let's go do our due diligence.
Why did King Charles travel to the USA at the end of April 2026? A perspective of the significance of the royal visit to the USA and the collapse of the Maritime Admiralty Law commercial system of systems cabal centralized matrix. This now allows common law to step in again and allow sovereignty, freedom, decentralization and productivity principles to be applied again. So a lawful decline and dissolution of the globalist imperial empire system and fictional strawman, and a new version of the sovereign common law system representing the living man. But remember, there are many vested interests in keeping the old globalist system going, including the justice system itself and the institutions, bureaucracies and corporations. Keep an eye on Charlie Boy, the actor, and Buckingham Palace. He's long gone. The significance of the King's visit. The British King and Queen will visit America from April 27th to 30 as part of the final stages of the nation's dismantling of British Admiralty law, a critical step required for America to legally restore its sovereign state. Stops will be made in Washington, D.C., the 9/11 Memorial, and Virginia, with each location holding specific symbolic and historical significance tied to Britain's long-standing system that has quietly governed America for well over a century. This process requires the living authority to appear in person at the exact centres of origin, control and operation. This legal requirement makes the Crown's participation mandatory as America fulfills the conditions to restore its sovereignty. Physical presence and public witness complete the legal record, with the King and Queen serving as the two living witnesses, providing full and lawful testimony that America has fulfilled the conditions necessary to restore its sovereign state. As the living head of the British Crown that has governed America through Admiralty law, the King carries the essential authority to lawfully sign off on the end of that system, the return of America's sovereignty, and the shift back to the law of the land. Together, their appearances at the highest levels of governance create a visible, ceremonial confirmation that the corporate maritime system is being brought to its lawful end in America.
If you want to add on, I'll pause it because it's about 10 minutes. So do you want to add on? Or you want the information to continue to flow?
Yeah, let it finish. Mm-hmm.
At its centres of power within the country. The visit begins where that power is currently concentrated. Even under arrest, unless officially expelled, members of Congress maintain their position within the body. For the record to be complete, the full legislative body must be physically present in the chamber. If members were arrested beforehand, they would not be there to witness the ending, leaving the process incomplete. The King's visit, 9/11 Memorial. To implement a new system, the pillars of the old order had to be removed. The Twin Towers stood as powerful symbols of global trade, finance, and commercial dominance under the maritime system. Their destruction in 2001 created profound shock and chaos, intended to clear the way for the full implementation of a far more expansive system of control, the New World Order. However, despite great effort, that plan was never completed. Instead, the American people, through their president, are now bringing the old system of Admiralty law to an end and restoring the law of the land. Even though the New World Order failed, Admiralty law's rules and rituals still require proper closure. The King and Queen come as the official living witnesses from the British side for three essential reasons. The Twin Towers were the commercial side of the system in operation. This is why it was called the World Trade Center. It was literally designed to be the global hub for trade and finance under Admiralty jurisdiction. They must stand at the exact location and observe firsthand that those pillars have been removed. Their presence creates the required living testimony that the old centres of commercial power have ended. By standing at the 9/11 Memorial, the King and Queen complete this necessary step. This forms a formal acknowledgement that closes the old chapter of the previous commercial and maritime system at the very site where its power was once most visibly concentrated. That system has now concluded. The King's visit, Virginia. Virginia is the true origin and seed of the entire commercial system in America, the place where Admiralty law first gained its legal foothold on American soil. The Virginia Company was created by the King of England as a private business venture to establish a colony. When its charter was later revoked, Virginia became a royal colony under direct control of the English Crown. Though the American colonies declared independence in 1776, the underlying corporate structure eventually re-emerged, culminating in the formation of the corporate United States after 1871. By returning to Virginia, King Charles and Queen Camilla returned to the very starting point of the commercial charter system that established British Admiralty law over America. Standing at this original point as living witnesses, they signal the lawful closing of the old arrangement. This act completes the circle, releasing the old jurisdiction so that full land jurisdiction and sovereignty can return to the American people, returning them to their status as living sovereign beings under the law of the land, in contrast to the dead status held under maritime law. The King's visit, America's 250th anniversary. In the old system of contracts, trusts, and rituals, major cycles carry deep legal and symbolic weight. Exactly 250 years ago, in 1776, America publicly declared its independence from Britain. Although the underlying corporate structure was later quietly re-established through corporate law, the 250-year cycle has now come full circle. The King's presence on American soil at this precise anniversary marks the lawful completion of that cycle. In the hidden system they follow, an agreement or jurisdiction cannot be closed at any time. Major anniversaries like this one create the proper window to end long-standing contracts cleanly and lawfully. By returning at this moment, the King bears living witness to the full and final closing of the original commercial contract. This timing also provides the perfect public cover. The historic 250th anniversary gives an innocent and natural reason for the King and Queen to visit Washington, D.C., New York, and Virginia at the same time. Why America must follow Admiralty Protocol. Any transition out of Admiralty law must follow established procedure. A nation cannot simply walk away from such a system. History repeatedly shows the severe cost of attempting to bypass its rules without completing the full process. Leaders who tried to break free or challenge the system without following the lawful steps faced decisive consequences. Saddam Hussein publicly announced that Iraq would sell its oil in euros instead of US dollars. This directly challenged the dollar-petrodollar system that operates under Admiralty law. At the time, such a bold move by a major oil producer threatened the stability of dollar dominance. The United States invaded Iraq and he was removed and executed. Muammar Gaddafi tried to launch a gold-backed African dinar to bypass Western banking control. NATO intervened. He was captured and killed. Abraham Lincoln issued greenbacks, real US dollars issued directly by the government, interest-free, to fund the Civil War outside private European banking under Admiralty control. He was assassinated. William McKinley strongly supported the gold standard and resisted the creation of a private central bank. In the eyes of the system, this disrupted Admiralty law's financial order, so his removal was seen as a lawful correction. He was assassinated. John F. Kennedy challenged the Federal Reserve's power and certain intelligence operations operating under Admiralty jurisdiction. Acting from within the system without completing the full ritual closure, he was assassinated. These leaders attempted to step outside or weaken the Admiralty law system within their country without following the proper lawful procedure. By failing to do so, the system treated their actions as rebellion and removed them. This is why the current process led by President Trump is so important. It began with a symbolic recapture of the American flag on Flag Day 2025 and is now unfolding through the correct legal steps, the final steps to America's sovereignty. The King's visit provides lawful witness from the old system and marks the formal closing of the old contract. However, this is not the end of the process. The practical removal of the old corporate and Admiralty law structures, including major changes to the financial system and the accountability of key corrupt figures, must follow. The full public rededication of the nation back to God will occur on May 17th, when President Trump, acting as the representative of the people, leads the nation in solemn prayer. This marks an important stage in the transition. The removal of the old system does not need to be complete by this time, though it does need to be underway. The period between now and May 17 is extremely sensitive. As the old system is being lawfully closed, opposing forces will see these final steps as a major threat to their remaining power. This is the time for Americans to pray for the president's protection, declare their desire to reclaim full...
All right, buddy. Yeah, so thoughts, insights and definitely add-ons.
You know, again, it's very imperative that you heard the ending of the message, because the mind frame, like, even when as Moors we was getting a lot of this information in the early 2000s, it was
Mhm.
from Christian nationalists. um I remember Rikers used to get information from people that you might consider the Klan. Like, they were sending the
Right,
Quran and things of that nature.
right,
So they have an ideological slant, they have an ideological bent with, and that really pretty much frames and reference how they see things that are taking place. Um, that, I mean, I don't deny that it was very ceremonial and ritualistic in terms of transference. And again, like I said, I understand what's taking place with the dollar, the death of the petrodollar, and the changing of the systems. And what I also take note of that might go over people's heads is the reason why it was Louisiana that would be making the move on civil rights. And again, with this particular clip speaking about maritime, always
yes,
speak about New Orleans and the pivotal role that it plays, because when they absorbed the Louisiana Purchase, they also absorbed Roman law, which was Napoleonic code at that time, and
yes,
this also was considered maritime. And some people are saying that's where the transference or the federalization of the quote unquote union took place. They're saying Virginia, with the corporation, cool, you know what I'm saying? Either or. Interestingly enough, that was the first place that they initiated the strike to do the final blow to the social systems, right? That
right,
don't coincide with what a republic is or what it represents. That was an overlay of something else that was here. Um, Now how that pairs for melanated people remains to be seen. You know, these are some very interesting times that we're in.
yes,
Uh, but nonetheless, you know, yeah, yeah, we're watching it go down, and you know, it's very weird that people think that the transference of power is not a consolidation of power on behalf of the people who, what I guess that they feel that Trump is gonna contract with them or have sympathy for them, or relinquish funds to. I don't know where that bridge is at that they pretend to see. You
right,
know, people that look like you and me, because their signaling is very clear. They don't fuck with you at all on no level. Like, they're denying your humanity. If they have any say so in the matter, unless you kiss the ring. So it's like, once again, what's our plan? What's our strategy? What's our agenda? What's our grand design? How can we consolidate power? You know what I'm saying? Where are our data centers? You know what I'm saying?
right,
I seen something today, where they said that NVIDIA is working with a device that you could turn your home into data centers, and you can create nodes instead of having a centralized data center.
yeah,
You
I
can
saw
have a
that.
centralized one that operates as nodes. And once again, if you incorporate your living room as a place that's a living room where things are alive at, and you're growing food, and you're turning, you know what I'm saying, other areas of your home into revenue generating spaces,
I want to talk to you.
and your home is paying for itself, and you're really tapping into solar and not relying on the grid and filtering your water. I mean, all of these things are going to be necessary in the very near future for where it is we're headed. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know if people are, like, really projecting their mind 6 months into the future to see what the shelves are gonna look like, to see what gas gonna look like. While they have the illusion of comfort now to prepare themselves, whatever, even if that's getting an e-bike, you know what I'm saying? or learning
And
how to.
yeah, that's why that lecture that you've been cooking up. That's why they are going to be in the building when you deliver it, because they know that in that lecture, not only will you have some lessons, but you'll have demonstrations. You'll have real life receipts, real life quote unquote solutions, and real life products that people could actually come and get, so they could set up these indoor, I say an indoor bank. I will call it an indoor bank, especially in lieu of this hantavirus thing, and especially in lieu of the possibilities of a lockdown, especially in lieu of what we see these tricksters. Because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, in order to get people's attention, Rich asked me about this on the show the other night, and in order to snap people out of their stupor, something is going to have to happen that's catalyst wise. It doesn't have to necessarily be a 9/11 event. It could be a C-19 event
Yeah,
where the government treats it more severe than individuals do, and the heavy hand response of the government will wake people up, because it will change things somewhat overnight. This new lockdown, it will be a it will have different components than the last one, right? This one will involve Palantir. This one will involve yeah, it'll just be different. So I want the people to get what it is that they need in terms of these solutions, I would say not in a scattered type of situation. It needs to be centralized with a date and a location, and they could tune in and they could get what they need. I've been talking to some people that deal with the whole survival aspect of things, like arming yourself. The fact that if anything were to take place in terms of, I mean, just the fragility of life itself right now, anything like a grid collapsing, anything like a martial law being declared, anything like a collapse of an economic system, anything like civil unrest, first thing is food, because everybody's going to be hungry. If you think about people saying, oh, we'll just go in the forest or we'll go and hunt animals, animals are going to not even be around. So how many people do you think are even going to be in the forest hunting those animals if everybody's hungry? How many animals you think they're gonna get? Because everybody will be in the forest. Everybody will be doing the same thing that you're doing. And then there's people that wake up every day to go and kill animals. I live in a cul-de-sac, right? And I'm surrounded by swamps, I'm surrounded by nature, I'm surrounded by woods, I'm in a wooded area. I've never in my life ever woke up one day out of any of those days listening to nature and say, I want to pick up a musket, go into the woods and shoot one of these animals. I never had the yearning to take down a deer in my neighborhood. I never wanted to get in a truck, drive somewhere, and take a life of an animal on any living day that I was alive. Not to take anything away from hunters, not to take anything away from people that do that for even for the sport. I'm not judging it, because we live in a day and time where
yeah,
people's ancestry is coming to the front. They might not be on some Liver King type stuff or some Tiger King, but they may be tapping into that part of themselves as a Taino or an indigenous person that was taking the animals down. That wasn't long ago. When we need to learn that now. We do need to learn that now. So the people who got up and put in that type of work in the wilderness, they're going to have one up on a person like me. You know, they're going to be able to knock some, because you got, and when you going through, imagine you going through the woods and you got your children and your whiz with you, and ARs are going off, and so are AKs and all type of stuff, huh? So yeah, we need to have people, man. Like I said, while the dollar is still the dollar, while the dollar is still the dollar, and acres are affordable, I feel that that should be purchased as from a collective perspective. Like that needs to be, this land needs to be secure. You can't even buy land because land is really not for sale. Truth be told, if that situation that we just heard about is of does come to fruition, then the conversation about the land wouldn't even be about buying the land back. It would just be about receiving back what is rightfully ours. But in the meantime, between time, or the meantime between time, yeah, uh, not being in the middle of the city is a flex right now. Not paying $5,000 a month for an apartment is a flex right now. Not being inside of a state where the state is literally considered to be already a purge state. It's not a flex right now. And if you're in those places, then there's training that you can take right now instead of there's classes you could take, there's teachers that could teach you things, there's solutions that could get you just mentally ready, you know comfortable in the knowledge or the knowing that you basically are one step ahead of anything that could catch you by surprise. So yeah, salute to the farmy and salute to what y'all doing, solution based. Can you just give the family a real quick, give them an elevator pitch about what the farmy is and what you represent in terms of solutions?
Again, everything that you just spoke about is just to solve all of those problems, and give people the reinforcements to be food sovereigns. You know, if you have the ability to harvest your own yield in a 8, 9 to 11 day process, then once you have nutrition figured out, you know, with how much space more do you have in terms of time? How much space more do you have in terms of lowering your stress levels? I think a lot of people are just operating in stress, so it's very hard for them to plan and to strategize and to like move on those plans and operate what sustainability looks like. If anybody's feeling any stress or tension, then they should be looking to solve that and get from underneath stress, because that's killing you. And when they say stress kills, or it lengthens your life. I mean, it just, I
Right.
mean, it
Limits.
it limits, it shortens your telomeres, and that literally will take you out of here. So there's just so many things that people need to be able to do to remediate themselves from being in a constant production of stress, and being able to feed yourself is just a beautiful thing because it eliminates you from not knowing where your food's coming from, wondering if it got glyphosate in it, which is destroying your melanin and everything else. You know what I'm saying? If they got Jabberwockies in it, you know, if there's preservatives in it because it's more than a day or two old, you know what I mean? You
Right.
want real time nutrition. You want the highest yields possible. And the protocol that we have developed, it just does things that no available food on a food market, like you couldn't go to the store and buy the things that these products do in combination.
Right.
Pickle green, broccoli, sunflower, and amaranth. And then the additional medicinal mushrooms such as the blue oyster, the pink oyster, for BDNF, right, which is brain growth factors, restoring, rewiring the brain, and unlocking what's called the default mode network. The majority of our people are experiencing trauma loops, right? Trauma loops are totally shutting down the parasympathetic nervous system. If you are in a constant state of trauma or fight or flight, overproducing cortisol, you're not digesting. So there's no wonder why the majority of our people are experiencing obesity rates that are unprecedented, where people is like, I eat, I do this and I do that, I'm still gaining weight. I know big vegans, the stress is still there, right? the stress is still there. There's certain things that we need to do to calm the parasympathetic nervous system. With shallow breathing, that's defeating us. We need to breathe from our diaphragm. We need a total reset in terms of the discipline of how we live our lives and the circadian rhythm. Me living with the plants, I know that they operate on the schedule. And I know when they're off the schedule, they get molded, they get older, they're not good. You know what I'm saying? They need to be consistent. When that sun come up and when that sun come down, human beings got the same schedule. Blue light is destroying us. So yeah, like I said, farming is a self-sustainable micro farming, veteran-driven business that shows you how you can sustain yourself, right? Get your family together, and then, if you so choose, operate as a business. Go to your neighbors, right? And then get them incorporated so you can all branch out and now service your community. All of the restaurants in your community, schools are potential clients. You go to churches, get people on a regular schedule, get subscription based. The model of the future is what? Subscription based, right? A multi-billion-dollar wave is health and wellness, even more so one where you're able to provide organic nutrition for people at a premium,
Right.
and a very affordable price at a time like this when everything is inflated, because anything that's coming here food-wise has to be transported. So that's more money on the gas. It's going to be more money on your wallet.
Right.
Um,
Question. What's the time, the whole setup process that one would take? Is there a timeline as to how long that would take to get that system set up in one's household?
we've been hired as consultants to do setups for people, and it takes under 2 hours.
And what are the physical limitations as to where you could set it up at?
You just need 3 square feet.
Okay.
You just got to find a corner
Okay.
in your apartment, in your house, in your room, wherever you so choose.
Yes.
Gotta utilize 3 square feet.
How could a family get in touch with you, my good brother? I don't want them to miss this opportunity.
www.farmyorganics.com. We have a
In the chat.
I will.
Okay, good looking.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna play some videos.
Yeah, please do.
All right. Yeah, you talked about this thing with the tech companies. Elon through SpaceX got in bed with Anthropic today, and this is very interesting. So let's check this out.
Months ago, Elon Musk talking about data centers in space was a meme. I mean, some of them were pretty funny. But today, Anthropic just signed a deal to help him do that. Not so funny anymore, is it? But if you think about it, SpaceX was just a launch company like 90 days ago. Check what happened in the last 90 days. In February, SpaceX merges with XAI at a $1.25 trillion valuation. Rocket company plus AI company overnight. Then in April, they strike a deal with Cursor, $60 billion option to buy. And either way, now Cursor's compute runs on SpaceX. And today, they signed Anthropic, 300 megawatts, 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs, and they'll be available in like a couple months. So in 90 days, SpaceX goes from being a launch provider to now a compute landlord. They're now hosting XAI, Cursor, and Anthropic all in the same infrastructure. And Anthropic's the more interesting customer in this story because Elon spent the last 6 months calling Anthropic evil, woke, misanthropic. I mean, these are his exact words. And now there's a junior business development employee over at Anthropic writing the deal memo. And in the reasons for why section of the memo, it says, because we had to. Anthropic kind of had to do this deal because Claude's daily active users have been up like 5x in 6 months. So their infrastructure just couldn't keep up. And for SpaceX, here's the other interesting thing that they pulled off. XAI sold Colossus 1 compute stack to Anthropic because they already moved training over to Colossus 2. Musk is out running his data centers sort of like his Tesla product releases. By the time you heard of the new product, bought it, there's already a new product launch and the one that you bought is already obsolete. That's the level of scarcity that SpaceX is operating on right now. They're spitting out their depreciated data centers as side revenue while they build the new one. This is now a vertically integrated AI compute platform. And the orbital data center thesis isn't a meme anymore. I mean, XAI's statement today, and I quote, "The compute required to train and operate the next generation of these systems is outpacing what terrestrial power, land, and cooling can provide." Translation, They're going to space, and SpaceX is the only company that can launch the satellites to do it. And again, if you like this sort of thing and want to stay close, join our community Frontier, link in bio.
I'm gonna continue. We can add on.
And it won't be the last pandemic. The next one, and it won't be the last pandemic. The next one could be far more severe. I mean, this one, it killed millions. It was awful. We got the vaccine. You know, actually, President Trump's leadership was a factor in getting that out quickly. And so when I spoke to him, I said, okay, here's some other medical innovations, including a thing called an HIV cure that could be accelerated. So, you know, we should be more prepared, both for a pandemic. I'd say that's still number one. You know, you can worry about nuclear war. You can worry about AI. There's plenty to worry about.
You're getting a lockdown with this administration. Have you noticed the hospitals have been gutted? Poor people have been wrecked. Poor people realized that during COVID, rich people were just making us get all those vaccines and wear masks, and they weren't doing that because we work around them and they wanted to feel safe, and that's what we had to do to make money. But no one's going to talk about the class aspects of this, and so we'll just get to what we know about the virus. Somebody let them off the boat. It was 2 weeks ago, and it was 26 people. It takes 8 weeks to know. Do you know what comes from Argentina? That guy from Switzerland, it was real. It was real. I'm not trying to fearmonger online. I'm just telling you, they got COVID sealed. They made a lot of money in that pandemic, let's be honest. And you know they want a sequel. And you're not going to know about a lockdown until you're like a week to them. God, it seems like every time we're getting close, they got another virus. If it's not the war or the files, there's just something else to die in. We got an alien invasion, and now we got the fucking gas prices, or another pandemic. It's worse than the coronavirus. It's called the Hanta. I'm kidding. It's not human to human yet. We're going to keep tracking it. But do you honestly think they would tell you if it was? Okay, no more thinking and no more fun. Get out of here. Get back to work. In order to enjoy this song, you have to imagine that COVID wasn't the best thing that could have happened to rich people, financially and for their physical security. And then if you can do that, you're going to have to imagine that they're going to follow the rules and not just blame you. You're going to love this song.
Hunter. Yeah, I see them cooking this one up. Let's get a little more Hunter bars.
But class 4 is the all lives matter of the left.
Not yet, sis, not yet.
Absolutely no time for white nihilism. Grow the fuck up, y'all. Jesus Christ. Every other day it's getting online and seeing some white person finally realize that the state don't like your ass either. It ain't just niggas they don't like, and I really do mean that. They actually hate you more. They have to in some way work with us because creation comes off our backs. They really just don't like you. You have to be the vessel that creates more of you. So your white nihilism is annoying right now. Grow up. We are here because of your inability to face reality. The inability of you to realize you are your ancestors and that your ancestors sold your whole bloodline out for a lie, for an entity that keeps telling them that if they keep giving up and that you are superior just by being you, while literally the floor moves from you. You have no right now to sit here and say that, one, the gutting of the Voting Rights Act that just happened in the United States somehow is not that bad, right? Because you don't think it's going to impact you, because I've heard some folks say that. Or on the other hand, you're saying there is no hope, there is no future, so we just have to kind of give up, throw up our hands and either move to somebody else's country, which you're going to bring this shit with you, right? Or somehow you resigning yourself so you are just rolling over and playing dead. Grow up. And no, I'm not going to sit here and make space for you to reflect and to feel. Your feeling you are feeling now is your spirit finally trying to find a place and space to come back into your body. This is a self-reflection moment. Slowing down. Mercury and Taurus, along with Mars, having to still face what it was defending and why, because Mars is going to be squaring Jupiter. There's going to be a reckoning right now in our identities and the ways that our identities and the family structures and care structures we've created aren't caring at all. So no, your white nihilism is not helping at all. It is proving the fucking point that you are the reason and your people are the reason that we are in this shit right now. So grow up and do something about it.
What are your thoughts on this increasing outpouring of white nihilism that we're beginning to see in all pockets of society? I've mentioned on the show when we did the mayonnaise meltdown series that I don't remember any time like these days, like the days of now, where so many white nihilism was being echoed from all corners of the internet, bipartisan, doesn't matter, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. These days, when I be having these deep, contextual, complex thoughts, that's when I get to writing. So I'm trying to go through my mind and saying, you know, we almost pretend as if we don't know what time it is or what time we're in. And again, Facebook reminds me more and more that these are conversations that I've been having for 10, 15, and 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I was speaking about white fragility in the beginning of this administration in January on 3 million when it was coming in.
Right. I remember that. Excellent episode.
Fragility is the outgrowth of men who don't know exactly where they're standing or is at. If you keep saying that this is their ending and this is the fall of this and the fall of that, what do you think the anxiety is going to look like?
Yep. It's going to appear as nihilism.
They're fearful control right now.
You're buffering a little bit, bro.
Chronos.
You buffering a little bit.
Said I'm buffering?
Yes, sir. Skipping a little bit.
Yeah, is it better?
Not on my end. I'm not sure if the family could see it, but on my end it's still a little buffery. Yeah, there's a lag, so we got there's a lag, so I gotta wait for a minute to see what the audience says. Yeah. They said that it's lagging, and then somebody said that it's good.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I could just keep speaking and some.
Maybe you got to come back in. I don't want you to be speaking and you lagging. That hurts everybody's ears. We don't do bad audio over here. We would rather go out and come back in. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when the energy is at a certain heights, it will give it will interfere. There's an interference layer when the vibrations get real high. So it's all good. You know what I mean? This has happened for years and years and years, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Shout out to the KT aliens dropping all that information in the chat. We see you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for adding on. You dig? Anthropic gets the power to grow. Musk gets the profit to dominate the next era of infrastructure. Right. And of course, they got Elon Musk on trial against Sam Altman at the time. And it's quite, it's interesting that we got to see Stefan Diggs on trial with his maid, but we don't get to see the same type of energy with Elon Musk and Sam Altman that are on trial, even though it's not a criminal trial. It's they're in a civil suit. However, the information should be in the public's the public should be able to hear the information that's coming out at that trial, the same way that the public was exposed to the hot dogs that Stefan Diggs was paying $2,000 a month for. All right, you're back. You back.
I just come. Yeah. Yes. Am I clear? Am I coming in clear?
Not entirely, but not entirely.
I'm still buffering on your end. You're saying?
Yes. It's still a little choppy, a little bit of choppington.
Yeah, I don't want to be choppy. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's telling me it's time to go to sleep. I am past my bedtime.
Yes, indeed. Do we have a date where we're gonna be coming together? I know that I got Fear of a Black More Messiah, the 10-year anniversary. Let me pull this flyer up, y'all.
What's the date for that?
The date on that is Memorial. We're doing that on Memorial on 24th, I believe, which is gonna be on a Sunday. Yes, sir. I'll be doing that on a Sunday. So I would love for you to do something. Maybe we could do a 2-day weekend. I got one day. Huh?
Yeah, let me just look at my calendar and I'll get back to you tomorrow or later tonight on that.
But all right, you sound good though. They say that you do sound good. Like this when the picture's kind of small right there. If you want to cook for another 10, 15 minutes, please be my guest. Be welcome. I got more videos if you want me to throw them up.
I'll just speak to what you was asking me real quick about denialism. He has to play the victim. That's the position that he wants to play because he's about to go on the offensive and say he was on the defensive because his manhood is in question. And,
right.
People are getting too close to uncovering it. So now he's scrambling. And this is a rat whose back is against the wall. There's no coincidence that this is a rat virus. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's the role that they are playing. Like you said, and
rodents.
As rodents whose backs are against the wall. Trump has run out of all of his plays. He's scrambling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you get quiet enough and you listen, you can hear the scratching on the wall. You feel me?
I definitely can. This is a bully who has
for him and BB.
Right. These are two bullies that got punched in the face inside of the quote unquote yard or the playground. And after it's the post punched in the nose is what do you do to everybody after you get punched in the nose in the playground by homie with the bifocals that you was bullying and whatnot and they popped off. Now, after you get punched in the nose, you start being sassy with everybody that watched you get punched in the nose. And you say, damn, why y'all ain't help us when we got punched in the nose? And they like, fam, you supposed to be the big bad you know what I mean? You the second coming, y'all the chosen ones. Like, what you talking about?
But what if the bully is your bus driver, right? And your kids is on the bus with Biff. Biff got punched in the nose. He got embarrassed in front of the yard, and y'all giving him the business on the bus. He's already not there mentally.
Right.
So he's gonna crash. He got children tied up in the crib as well. They don't know that he got body parts in the fridge. They don't know that he's not there at all.
Right.
But yet they getting on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and he got dookie stains and everything. Like he's doing, and he smell like he dookied on himself. And the children gonna be children. They can't hold it back. They can't not tell you what time it is.
Right. Oh,
And
I got a
that's
clip with Trump and the children. They go,
yeah.
hold
So
on, let
that's
me pull that up.
that's the fragility factor that we're speaking about. That somebody, the emperor has no clothes, but yet he's so fragile. Everybody's in danger. If that's the case, if you are dependent on that bus driver getting your children home, then it might be an issue.
Ugh.
Right? So it's not cool enough just to sit back and watch and say, oh, you know, homie, he skits and he glitching and short circuiting and it's all falling apart. There's a lot at stake, bro. And they're scrambling to keep it all up. And they're rolling over these events so quick that you didn't reel back from the last one. Like, there's so much going on. Like, you need 2 months to put together the correspondent clippings. You know what I'm saying?
That he is about to send troops to die to try to go extract.
This is him with the little ones. The future.
Nuclear enriched uranium from underneath.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Friendly reminder that he is about to send troops to die to try to go extract nuclear enriched uranium from underneath a fucking mountain.
Presidents should have done this. 47 years they've been toying with these stupid people.
Immediately, one should ask themselves, 47 years, say that out loud. Maybe I'm the stupid one. Because I'm the first one in 47 fucking years to fall for our greatest liabilities, never-ending war trap.
Because we have to make a journey down to Iran to take the nuclear weapon. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks.
Yeah, because BB the Bomber hasn't been preaching that iniquitous lie since 1993. Also, absolutely insane to just openly indoctrinate kids about hate Iran, scary Iran. They're going to get a nuclear weapon and blow you all up.
Remember we sent that beautiful B-2 bomber in and we blew up their nuclear potential. It was obliterated.
Stopping basically every statement because he always lies. Where it's like, wait a second, you just said we obliterated their nukes. And 6 months later, I've just never heard obliterated and then somebody just back like hook crack in 6 months with another nuke that we now have to put boots on the ground to go get.
And Iran with a nuclear weapon, and maybe we wouldn't all be here right now.
Nefarious threat to just throw into the void, especially knowing that these kids are still here. You know what kids aren't? The 150 that we killed on fucking day one when we blew up a school, which 0 people have been held accountable for and we're still investigating. You know how fucking insane that is?
They should wave the white flag of surrender.
Oh no, that's never gonna happen. So like I said before, there's literally 2 options. We either leave or we're literally gonna put boots on the ground and tell troops to go into a fucking mountain complex and try to extract nuclear enriched uranium. Think about that in your head. You are a troop using, excuse me? What? I don't care, Delta Force, huh? You got me fucked up. Martinsville area, you guessed it, death. Red Bull nowhere in sight. Why strictly for Israel? No thanks. I'm going home. Because it's not needed. That's the thing. Our troops maybe could miraculously do it. Of course, we have an elite military. But will some people die? Yeah. They ain't just gonna be sitting there and saying, oh yeah, come on in. No, these motherfuckers been waiting for us for 30 years.
Well, I don't want to say that, but yeah, I mean, people say, why aren't they protesting? They want to protest, but they don't have any guns.
That's a red flag. He just low-key said, yeah, I'm gonna send some weapons to Iran because we need somebody to rise the fuck up. I need somebody to die before we go in there.
Killed 42,000 people last month. 42,000 unarmed protesters.
Duh, that was your actual opportunity to go in there, but you didn't. Why? Because Mossad got caught right-handed trying to arm civilians.
No guns. So they had a 250,000 people crowd. And they had snipers. They had like 4 or 5 snipers.
I just casually said that 4 or 5 snipers took out 42,000 fucking people. That's the white death on steroids.
All of a sudden, a woman dropped dead with a bullet right there. Always right there.
Once again, indoctrinating fear of West Asia to the kids around you. I mean, I remember I used to grow up, oh damn, Muslim? Shit. 9/11? Oh my God, hijack plane? What the fuck is gonna happen? No, that shit was all fucking cap. I'll tell you that. You know who does aim and shoot at the fucking head? Yeah, the IDF at children.
Yeah, it's my dude. That's Evil Drake.
Yeah, that's some deep indoctrination. Some deep indoctrination. I mean, you know, true to form, man. MAGA all the way.
That's
That's all out death code.
Huh?
This is the highest level of a satanic church. This is it. I mean, I look at it from that lens from day one, so I'm never surprised at what I see. All of it fits in the paradigm.
Right.
So, you know, forgive me if I don't be as engaged. I'll be like, yeah, it's given. Now what?
Right.
I'm like, if people are sitting in suspense to see what the next play is, you're going to continuously be entertained, but now they're bringing in the full consolidation of the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? They're giving people bread and circus. So, yeah, as pageantry takes place in the background, but people are already very much symbol illiterate. Shout out to the decoders that are out there that are catching it, because boy, you know, is it replete? It's all over the place. And all of this coincidingly, you know, that visit happened at the same time that they were shutting down Alex Jones. And Alex Jones was at one point, you know, the very first voice in media, in the social media age, you know what I'm saying, to be making these connections, to be putting that light on, you know, post William Cooper, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, these are truly unprecedented times that we're in.
Nah, for sure. For sure. Let me pull up Pistol Pete real quick, because he's in a...
Yeah, my guy, he's straight in his Antichrist role. I mean, it couldn't be
Crusader bag. Yeah. He's in his arrogant Crusader bag, his arrogant Birkin all day.
Yeah, yes. Christian Dome. Super Crusader.
Seth, you never cease to amaze me. And I mean that in the worst way possible. Because what the alcoholic asked for...
What'd you say, Blue?
You're Super Crusader.
Oh, yeah, Super Crusader. It harkens back to that emergency meeting that he had when he called all of the generals. When he called all of the 800 generals, and his opening remarks.
Right.
Huh?
His opening montage.
His opening montage was to go against overweight soldiers, woke soldiers, and I forgot who else he was going after. You know? But they were completely, they understood that they understood who they were dealing with at that moment. That's when everything really made, you know, and that's when the brother stepped down, one of the highest ranking officials in the armed forces and whatnot. He was like, yeah, I'm good on this. You know. But yeah, let us go with your boy.
Henny Heck Seth, you never cease to amaze me. And I mean that in the worst way possible. Because what the alcoholic asked for today, $1.5 trillion for a defense budget. And his reasoning, you don't need to hear alcoholic talk, was before these contractors would double dip. They would charge us and they would charge you. But guess what? We're not going to do that anymore. Because now it's a business. Department of War is a business. And it's like, wait. We spend double amount of anybody in the fucking world, and you need more money? At what point in time do we say, you know what? I don't want this anymore. I don't want to spend more money than everybody. You keep on calling it defense contract. This is defense. Bitch, we've been on offense since day one. I don't understand. We're not defending against anybody. I really never see us do no defense. I only see us attack very aggressively on offense. And now we have some new guy. Oh, you know, he ain't new this, he true this. We're going to call them Deal Team 6. Not even the boys could write up something this stupid. And so then the alcoholic just keeps on talking about this is a better deal. How is it a better deal if we spend in more fucking money than we ever have in history, dickhead? People, this is our defense budget already compared to the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that make any fucking sense? But we don't have money for anything else. Kids can't afford to go to school. Farmers are losing their business. Veterans is homeless. But we need $1.5 trillion on a defense budget. And at what point in time do we ask ourselves, hey, I'm just confused personally, because we marched into Iran, moving, grooving, vibing, sliding. They, oops, nope. Y'all not coming any further. Strait of Hormuz is closed. What the fuck is we doing with this? I see Iran nowhere on here, and y'all can't even open up a fucking strait. And guess what? I see our greatest liability right there. Seems as though they have enough money to defend themselves. We should get the fuck up out of there. So I'm a hater, not a liar. And that's why I hate it. It was like, you have to lie to yourself to be patriotic. This is fucking embarrassing. We need more and to spend more for what? What are we trying to fucking accomplish? I see their city infrastructure. I see their home ownership. They on to fucking something, and they spending $700 billion fucking dollars less than us. And they seem militarily to be right on par. Some would say even better. And now I see their Chinese EV vehicles, BYD. We're so scummy and fucking greedy, we won't even allow them in. That will ruin capitalism. That will ruin our business. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I thought capitalism was sell to the best company. I don't give a fuck if they from China. That's not my problem, my nigga. Lower the prices, bitch.
Told you in my last lecture. War, right? Aquarius and Pluto until 2044. When the war start, it won't stop. They told you that this is their holy war. They told you. You don't tell a person it's a holy war, then it's not a holy war.
Yeah, you can't pedal back a holy war.
Right. IDF is not over there desecrating all the Christianity for nothing. It's so they need to create wars to create wars to create wars. They're totally locked in. So he's saying that's the budget. They're going back to victory farms. I mean, they're eliminating the farms, so they're not even doing that. But they're going back to that era where yes, their entire economy is war based because they're going to go into hyper production of AI and mechanics and the merger of the two. Man and machine, but man and machine for the means of war, not for the only production that generates to make America great again is being a war machine.
Right.
It now has to create a new war apparatus because the old war apparatus died in the old age. We are now in a new age. This is the age of AI warfare, of drones, of ballistics, of hypersonics. Everything that was old has to be sold. And all of the new has to be incorporated by what? Defense contractors that are decentralized, not centralized, not old world war.
Right.
Not the war manufacturers of the old wars of the old world. No, the new ones, right? Going forward, the ones that Donald Jr. has stock in, and the incorporation of all of these mechanics in the space age programs, because now is going quantum. As AI goes, so goes the war. So as AI goes
basketball,
quantum, right?
NBA players, right? Steph Curry and them, they got their money in the drone companies, and they also have it in the aerospace program through the stocks, through their financial advisors who are the juice boxes, who put the actors, the people at MetLife, the people in the NBA, the NFL, all of their financial advisors simply just take their bag.
They got the game on smash. And if you think any different, then I hate to be the bearer of bad news because you're probably living in an illusion. You know what I'm saying? And I don't deal with the tropes anymore. I'm dealing with the facts, my ninja. Right? The game consolidated. And I had said that 2 years ago. I'm like, you could be in your feelings about what you're seeing and you don't like it, but you ready to throw out your bank account, you ready to throw out your deed, you ready to throw out your employee. Like these people, you are contingent and dependent on them until you become unhinged with them. you should be reserved in how you look at the situation play out, because it's not set up to play out in your favor. But this is where education comes in. You have to learn AI, you have to learn tech, you have to learn farming, you have to be a food sovereign. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn these things. This is the phase that we're moving into. This is where, yo, my people perish for lack of knowledge, and there's nothing I can do about it. Because when they did not take advantage, when it was available, the burden is on them. So, not knowing what the Clarity Act is hitting for, not knowing what none of this stuff is about, what stable coins are, or how this new economy is about to hit.
Right.
Oh no. Not, I mean, we need to start directing a lot more people's attention to the Genius Act and the Clarity Act, so they can really understand what's in front of them. You know what I'm saying? In terms of these digital realms, because that's what's going to change everything. And like you said, they just need a Black Swan event. And the minute that, you know what I'm saying, when you come out of that, which is, this is already set up to have, because the new lockdown is an energy lockdown, right? Where you can't afford to go nowhere in a second. So everything's gonna be set up for you digitally anyway, for you to spend more
Carbon
time
taxes.
online like before. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
The
remember
gas,
New York did the carbon tax where you had to pay to get into Manhattan?
remember that?
Yeah, and then they slowed that. They tested it.
Yeah, that was the test,
It
right?
was right by the UN.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm not gonna hold you for long, bro. I appreciate the opportunity. I know that it was, way overdue that we had an opportunity to chop it up. But as I said, I assured the family I'll never miss a day. Even if I'm not online, I'm still catching. I'm catching it in the wind. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part.
And I'm writing, and I've been creating. I've been, and like you said, I've been in the farm creating, and in that environment, being in stillness. You know, because that also heals your default mode network.
Your
The
DMN,
medicine. Hmm?
your DMN.
Yeah, your default mode network. Silence is medicine, stillness is medicine. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do a whole show on that. Facts. That a whole entire 2 hours. Maybe bring KT and bring H Factor. I want to do a default mode network show. I'm gonna bring my sister Ariel, the angelic for the angelic. I'm about to tap in with them this strong in too, in Jacksonville. And
Yes.
they also deal with the DMN and whatnot. So I want to do a whole entire show on that. But look, Blue, we made
Yeah,
it
yeah,
10
that's
years, man. Can you see can you see how far we made it with the Blackamore Fear of a Blackamore Messiah series? October the 10th,
absolutely.
2016 in Brooklyn at Nicholas is the first time I introduced this title, this lecture series to the world. And here we are 10 years later.
See,
Huh?
I told them it was many of first we had done at Nicholas. And yeah, I remember the beginning of this series. I was very much engaged and excited for it. And it has very much blossomed into something that is beyond profound. Um, and
So
again, like I said, I wake up with different pieces on my heart to write to. And the other morning, it was raining when I woke up, and
yeah.
Spirit wanted me to write about the modification, GMOs, genetically modified organisms, but it wanted me to make the comparison between the seeds and the people
Mm, I love it.
being
You
primed for
wrote something?
transhumanism, saying, and I got a elaborate piece though. I wrote it to the song is called the Love Ballad. With so much more than they could, so much more than they. Yeah, it's like it's an arm. Oh, it's
Yeah.
It's a production. This the one they want to make into a play like Hamilton. Yeah, it's the one here.
You got something short for us on the way out by any chance?
Production. I wrote one called "Be Like Mike." That is a comparison to Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson. Oh my God, that's
Crazy.
the one right there, bro. Be like Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the illest. That's the
I
illest,
get you
man.
in Hicksville.
And my favorite, because I got a part 2 to this that didn't make the internet. My if God was one of us, what if God was like one of us?
Yeah.
Yo, that one.
You want to
God
hit
was
us
like
with that
one
or
of us
what?
with Donald Trump, with a God. And it's very lengthy. It's super long.
I said hit us with a short one,
But
my
it's
brother.
yeah, I'm gonna formally request apologies from you bootlegging Negroes promoting these jokers eschatology. Talk about the blind leading the blind. That's how you know the flesh is property, and there's no divine in your mind. Just the evidence that exists in your melanin, which you don't manage like it's heaven sent, but you want to give reverence to albinos telling you how to find your place in this world. My instructions came by way of solar rays. You co-starring in a thriller like Cola Ray. Hold Slow it down. Slow it down. Hold on. I'm going to formally
Bring it
request
back.
apologies. I'm going to formally request apologies from you bootlicking Negroes promoting these jokers eschatology. Talk about the blind leading the blind. That's how you know the flesh is property, and there's no divine in your mind. Just the evidence that exists in your melanin, which you don't manage like it's heaven sent, but you want to give reverence to albinos telling you how to find your place in this world. My instructions came by way of solar rays. You co-starring in thriller like Ola Ray. Go and play in traffic. I see your face in a Earl. Niggas go and play with magic and wonder why they always end up burnt face in the world. Only an injured mind can conceive of an end of times when they in a bind. There's no end of mind. My world is in my mind, and I'm projecting my reflection to the winds of time. So as long as the winds of change blow, I'm in the staying hole. If I return from whence I came, and as long as you mention names, I descend on angles. I come from where sinners can't go. The light is too intense. Because anyone that has free will but can be convinced that exercising their ways of sin, then they're blind to the blind that exists within like a hidden gem. And this light would be too intense. So that's for the souls who exist under the soul, domed in a firmament. Down there will be their permanent resting place because they bought into the prepackaged paradigm and didn't take the time to investigate. And I'm going to leave it there.
Ugh.
But yo, for real, like I'm just so sincere that every day my mind challenges me with concepts. And you know, I like juxtaposition. I like using two contrasts and
Right.
crashing them together and coming up with a piece. And my spirit has been forcing me to ask these deep theological questions based on my research now, which has been intense in terms of this Pope Pablo thing, because I'm seeing the way that again Christianity versus Christendom is playing out in real time,
It is.
right? This whole thing that I've been prepping and preparing people for, to look at different variants of Christianity, but also the culpability that the Catholic Church plays. They're playing the victim right now. They're playing the victim like they're about to rock you to sleep. Um, in the midst of reparation. I mean, there's so much going on. It's just so, but
Culminates.
it all culminates. It all connects. It's all part of the tesseract. I could explain it all just with a number, but nonetheless, I've been writing, asking these questions, these deep philosophical, theological, ideological questions, and I've been unlocking in the midst of me writing answers that are profound. Like I wrote one called Life Insurance, and it's about children being born in sin, and just asking the ideological questions to challenge that concept. You know what I'm saying? Because when I write my pieces and I always make proclamations like "Born Winner," it resonates so much with people, and I think that that's how everyone should see themselves. I think that's how the majority of people do see themselves. So they're already pressing back against the system. You got to make a soul decision on date one, like from the gate, my nigga. You gonna let them put that on you? They got some splaining to do. That can't be cut and dry. That's not a blank check. You know what I'm saying? So these pieces have pushed me, like I said, in down caves and caverns, and I've emerged with golden lanterns with genies inside of them. So I'm very much engaged with this phase of my mind, you know what I'm saying, where it's continuous, because I got it going. I got it on a consistent regimen now, and it kicks, it prompts almost quicker than the computer, because I'm competing with this concept that now people, instead of thinking for themselves, can go to a machine and do it for them. You know, I refresh my utility to myself daily, but I'm ready to polish these things up and go to Hicksfield. And with that, I would say peace, love, and light.
Indeed, indeed. Clap it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Blue Pillar in the building. All right, we'll see you. Give us a date. You know what I mean, give us a date. You even could get on if you want to tag team the Blackamore 10-year anniversary. You are welcome. The door's open for you. You just got to tap in with me.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know, man. All right.
Yeah, sooner than later. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
All right, family. Let's go down this. We got some more videos that we're gonna play. Let's go down this road, and then we're gonna wrap it up, because I do gotta hit the road tomorrow. Shout out to all of my Imaginarium. Matter of fact, let's get a word from the Imaginarium. Let's go to the commercial real quick. Let's pay the bills, and then we'll be right back. We got some announcements. We have the Imaginarium tomorrow. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. Our 90-day workshop. 90 Imaginarium session number 14. We've been consistent. Shout out to everybody that has taken this marathon, because it's a marathon and it's not the race. And the next cycle is even going to be from a perspective that we already made the movies. So the next cycle will be making something like a video game. Imaginarium, blueprints for the planetarium.
Generator, one mind builds whole worlds. Operator, you don't enter worlds, you design them. Destroyer.
They ain't just steal stories, they lock the bloodline. Operator, step through it. Rewrite the world they gave you. Destroy the illusion. Take your mind back.
Blueprints in the planetarium. Imaginarium. Blueprints in the planetarium.
Imaginarium, the yellow brick roads are unlocking codes, connecting nodes on this Silk Road. El Claudel collecting silk robes. The 44 gods wrote the 48 laws, and now we invoked and invoking the 42 claws. The return of the sunburnt moors, northwest of Maxim Tors. Open claw, open sesame, we open the doors. Now it's tokens galore, rubber bands on the floor, 100 grand on the left hand of the mall. We in the land of the Moors, we claiming every corridors, from Atlantis to the shores of Florida. Florida to the mounds in Mississippi. This is the sound of the inner city, home of the gritty. From the neighborhoods where the clowns was shitty and the crown was on Nipsey. The marathon continues. We won't stop this campaign until we take back all of our towns. All 60 in the meantime. I'm on GitHub, getting to the money, running swiftly. You get me? They tried to say the best nation wasn't your imagination. Fam, are you kidding me? Fam, are you shitting me? A major issue, even Demetrius said, can't take it with you. Money is a major issue, even Demetrius said, can't take it with 7-2 claws, we got 7-2 nobles who can make with you. Bread in the oven, we can bake it with you. Open AI made you open your eyes. Now the sunroof, open the skies. All white linen like the Pope in disguise. The motion is live.
We're here to make a change. We're here to make a difference. We're here to make a stand.
Moving on Ocean Drive, we riding horses, 400 Porsches, all black forces. We driving lamb chops from the sandbox of South Beach to the temples in Bangkok. Rubber bands pop, this is the boom bap that made the motherland rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have this month is May Day. It's called May Day for a reason. This is a very, very, very book month for me. I have a lot going on. I'm going to give you the events in a lineup, right? So they're all connected. They are all connected. They are a part of a trilogy that we'll be doing this month. All right. So the first thing that we'll be rolling out is on Memorial Weekend, May the 24th. That is the 10th anniversary of Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, the rise of the Messianics. This is a live digital experience that will challenge everything that you've been taught. Eventbrite only, and this is for my Patreons. This is the 10-year anniversary of Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. So you know what's going to come with that. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be monumental. We are going to show out and we're going to show up. It's been 10 years. When we started the Fear of a Blackamoor series, it was very clear as to what this conversation was about, that they were fearing us, not just us because we were black, not just us because we were niggas, not just us because we were melanated. No, there was something else about us. It was our messianic powers. It was the fact that there is a biblical narrative that speaks of a Messiah. There's a spiritual narrative that speaks of a Messiah. And it just so happened to be that when I did my due diligence and I did my research, I found out who those people were. I found out who exactly they were speaking to. And for 10 years, I've been laying out a dissertation. I've been developing a theorem and whatnot. So now we arrive at a place where we are going to be speaking about the rise of the Messianics. All right. And it is going to take place on Memorial Day. It is going to be it's going to be monumental. It's like a victory lap for me, ladies and gentlemen. This one is going to be one of the biggest Blackamoor Messiahs that I've ever done. This is the 10-year culmination. As you can see, I have the Messianic frequency surrounding me in this poster. I'm gonna print this poster out. This is going to be a big poster, like a stand-up banner. El Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, right, had a profound impact on my personal journey, right? Noble Drew Ali had a personal impact. Huey P. Newton, I remember I wanted to be a Black Panther, personal impact. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey, When I Woke Up, On My Come Up, profound impact. Fred Hampton, profound impact. Dr. Khalid Muhammad, profound impact. Dr. Sabi, profound impact. Elijah Muhammad, a profound impact. And I'm adding more of the masters to this poster, right? I want to put Father Allah on the poster. I also want to put more of the master teachers, but we do see that this is the foundation. I'm speaking about my person, but I'm also speaking for my generation. I'm also speaking to the people who I've interviewed over the years and the decades and whatnot, and we seem to share a similar quote unquote foundation or a similar motherboard, or we walk through similar schools of thought and knowledge. These men occupied those schools of thought and knowledge. We're talking about the information. I'm not personality worshiping. I'm not worshiping man. I'm speaking about the impact. I'm speaking about the prophecies. I'm speaking about the information. I'm speaking about the walk. I'm speaking about the talk. I'm speaking about the solutions that each one of them brought and how all of that is at play right now to this day. Because imagine if I had the DNA of every single one of these quote unquote ultra terrestrials, right? If I had the DNA of these ultra terrestrials, you're talking about a Blackamore Voltron, right? You're talking, but there are people who are being born not just with this DNA in their bloodstream, but the DNA of millions of others of our ancestors, those sung and unsung. Those sung and unsung. Keep that in mind. There are people born right now because each one of these men are attached to bloodlines with millions of ancestors. They just so happen to be the one who get immortalized and they get put in on the stage and whatnot, and they get put out there on a universal cosmos stage. But when you do their DNA, they were on a stage different generations ago. They just had different family members on this grand stage. You feel me? Everybody that's on the grand stage right now was on the grand stage back then. And you have people in your bloodline, people in your family tree, they were on big stages as well. So this is quantum. This is you looking at this poster, I need you to look at this through a quantum lens. We said before, this is the 100-year dynasty. What does that mean? That means that these men on this poster, primarily Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and Elijah, they were prominent in 1920s. So we're in the 2020s now, 2026. So we're talking about a 100-year dynasty where all of those trees that they planted bore fruit, right? Clarence 13X comes out of the Nation of Islam. The fruit that he bore with the gods and the earths, the nation of gods and the earth, that bore the fruit of the hip hop movement or higher infinite power healing our people and whatnot. And what did that birth? Malachi Z. York, the Nuwabians, that birthed the gangs, that birthed the Panthers, that birthed a lot of things. Malcolm X, his assassination, his actual martyrdom birthed the Panthers. It birthed our people embracing more of a militant stance and whatnot. Marcus Mosiah Garvey with the black economics and whatnot, following the footsteps of Booker T and whatnot. Dr. Sabi, of course. And Dr. Sabi comes out of the nation. Dr. Sabi was inspired by Elijah. He's part of that tree. He's part of that tree. So I'll never cut the tree down, even if there's branches that have poison fruit on them. We would just have to prune the branches. But the tree and the roots that tree represents is undeniable. And those trees of knowledge and those trees of life stand very tall. You know what I'm saying? And the roots run very deep. The roots go from Chicago to New York to Los Angeles to Detroit to Jacksonville, Florida to Mississippi, you dig, to the Carolinas, to Georgia, to Alabama, to Memphis and whatnot. Do you know how deep these roots go beyond the mud flood, beyond the buried cities and whatnot? The roots go all the way down. So we're in a time right now where so much is going on around the world, but it's all focused on the messiahs. Please believe it. It is your time to assume your position.
This is Kevin Roberts. He's not a politician. He's from the state of Louisiana. He built his life's work around African American history and the kinship of Black Americans. His thesis is on the transatlantic slave trade and the kinship of African Americans. Do you know who he is? This is Kevin Roberts. This is Kevin Roberts. This is Project 2025. And I need us to connect the dots. A man who built his academic journey from his bachelor's to his master's to his PhD to studying African American history and the kinship of African Americans put together Project 2025, which means he studied us. He understood our history, and then he took that, wrote a thesis about it, and built Project 2025 to disenfranchise us. He literally used our own history against us. So what you are seeing with the rolling back of rights, targeting DEI, firing over 600,000 Black women, what you are seeing is very much so intention. The dedication it takes for you to start in the 90s of studying Black people only to disenfranchise them almost 30 years later. Matter of fact, it is 30 years later. That is the long game this man has played. Because he got his bachelor's in history in 1996. Do you know how evil you have to be to utilize racism through the study of a people that you want to disenfranchise? They're not stopping at Jim Crow. This man literally put this book together and put it online for free. Something that people thought we were fear-mongering about. He put it online for free to show his life's work. And he's using policy to push it through. I don't think people are grasping. How do you study a people just to disenfranchise them through policy? You make it your life's mission. This is only the beginning. The intention is to take us all the way back. And he did it with research. That's a next level of evil.
That is not the next level of evil. That is study your enemy so you can master your position. That is simply warfare. That is chess and not checkers. That is not, we can't say that that's evil. They taught you to study your enemy. You were instructed to do that. That's what you were taught, to study him. And he studied you.
Some big news right now. The Trump administration is proposing.
Those men who prey on our women that they divested from us, they study our culture. They study our culture. That's why they know certain nuances in our culture when they lure our women into their traps. The same thing happened with their women. They study our culture. They study our nuances. Like the movie Get Out showed you, they were studying NFL culture. They were studying NBA culture. They were studying hip hop culture, gang culture, street culture. And what do? They adapt like chameleons. They adapt like lizards and whatnot. They do that. And they fall in line. They come in. It used to be blackface. Now it's beat face. Hold on. It used to be blackface. Now it's a beat face. So the white girls will just get puckered up and whatnot. They get their faces beat, and then they show up. They got edges now. They got you know, they got snap-ons and whatnot. You know, snap-on ponytails and you know, and iron on motherfucking baby hair. Press on edges. You know what I'm saying? They got they got clip-on eyelashes. Right? It used to be blackface, now it's beat face. That is a form of, wait a minute, who said it? Where is it coming from? Play my trumpets. Hold on, and my drums. Yeah, you guessed it. WWE, White Women Entertainment. Okay? On Britney. On Bro and them and Britney. On Britney and them. You know what I'm talking about? Let my guy talk. Even though we know he's a plant. You know what I mean? He's a demon crap plant.
We have some big news right now. The Trump administration is proposing and backing a rule that will allow you to ship handguns in the mail. For the first time in nearly 100 years, you may soon be able to, and people will start shipping handguns through USPS. The proposed rule is backed by the Trump Justice Department. Essentially, back in 1927, Congress passed a law that prohibited the USPS from mailing concealable firearms. The only exception was that they were from licensed dealers and that they were being sent to curb crime. Well, now the Trump Justice Department is saying, that's unconstitutional and it violates the Second Amendment. So if that rule is rolled back, people are going to be sending handguns through the USPS whenever they want to and for whatever purpose. Now, many argue that this is just enabling possible mass casualties, possible gun violence in the United States of America. We'll see what happens. Spread the word. Follow along step.
They rolled out a mass casualty ambulance in Florida. Who saw it? It's like a tour bus. They rolled out a mass casualty tour bus already in Florida. Okay. They rolled back the restrictions on the actual agency that would have been working on this virus. They rolled that back. This ship that you see on this right here where the eagle is, that's the same ship that Madonna wore at the MetLife. It was a symbolic hat called the ship of the death ship. It was called a Black Death Ship. Madonna was wearing the actual motif. And then the skeleton that Beyonce was wearing is from a Creole designer, right? A Creole designer. But when people hear the word Creole and they talk about Black people in America, I need you to go and do the Atlantic Creole. Do the research on what is called the Atlantic Creole. Understand who the Atlantic Creole. I heard Rod Hayes today talking about the Dirty Moors and whatnot on Brother Rich's channel. Do your research on what is called the Atlantic Creole. And that's nothing to take away from the Atlantic Creoles, but the Atlantic Creoles are the ones who are here, who are the closest to these people that are in power. Okay? All right? There's books on this shit. Atlantic Creole in the Age of Revolutions, the Creole Archipelago, the Creole Revolt, right? They're tied in with the Gullah Geechee and whatnot. But you're talking about Tina with the gumbo. You're talking about Beyonce and them. You're talking about them Huguenots. You know what I'm talking about? You're talking about the Atlantic Creoles. Understand who you're dealing with. They are in Martha's Vineyard. They're in places that you don't have access to them. But do the research on that, because that's the dress that she was wearing. And what that skeletal dress represented was the fact that, nigga, everybody dies. You all gonna die, right? I showed the video last time. I might have erased it, but let me see if I still have the research on that. So all of them were cosplaying at this Hunger Games. It's not the Met Life, it's the Meta Life. It's the Met. It wasn't even MetLife. It's not even. Let me not confuse it with MetLife. It's the Metropolitan Museum, but they call it the Met Gala. But I call it the Meta Gala, and Meta is Hebrew for death. right? Facebook turns into Meta, the Meta Gala, because that's what they were all representing. They were all cosplaying, and they were all representing beyond just being a buffer class, beyond just being a buffer class at this point with these actors. These are all property of the state, what you would call state property. State property. The artists are losing their powers, right? So they're not utilizing, the Hollywood is dead. The record industry is dead. These artists don't represent that version of power anymore. They have to kiss the ring, right? They have to kiss the ring. Look at their handlers.
Watching the NBA and wondered to yourself, who is this keeper of the crypt that seems to be at every single game? His name is Jim Goldstein. He spends over $500,000 a year on NBA tickets. People like to talk about his house, his love for basketball, his parties with Leonardo DiCaprio's and the Rihannas of the world, and how he surrounds himself with models that could be his granddaughter. But I want to talk about how Jim made his money. Watch the NBA over the years. You've seen Jim in the crowd, always a beacon of energy, clearly with a great love for basketball, not just a love for attention. It seems everywhere you turn, every single game, you can find him lurking and lingering around players and stars and the camera. Now, if you've seen The Big Lebowski, the Say So video from Absolute Scumbag Doja Cat, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, or the shows Southland or Snowfall, you have seen his home. Sheets Goldstein house, and when he dies, it'll be entrusted to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. See, Jim made his fortune raising rent over and over again as much as he could on the people who live in his little empire of mobile homes. And has spent the last 40-something years as a landlord, largely dealing with senior citizens that are struggling to make ends meet. Spent his adult life sitting courtside at the most left wing of the 4 big professional sports in America. The NBA has treated him with honor and respect to the point that the Basketball Hall of Fame has a section for super fans, right? It's named after James, and who has spent his career trying to raise rent as much as he can and then suing cities when they don't allow him to do so. The city attorney said his castle was built on the backs of the most vulnerable people in society and called him a litigation terrorist. Throughout his litigation, James likes to act like he is the victim, right? His retirement is being threatened. His economic hardship is really difficult because he can't raise the rent $618 per month in 2007. At that time, James was only granted an increase of $36, but how is he supposed to pay down his debt on his other properties at Colony Cove, which he had just bought for $23 million? Who will think of James? The year after he filed for a $250 rent increase, was only given $25, and then the year after that, after losing both times, he basically tried to take the legal costs from those 2 operations and put them onto his tenants in another increase the following year. He tries to use loopholes, right, to force tenants into buying their homes from him or they have to leave. Goldstein is told he can't jack up the rent and then loses his lawsuits. He just decides to punish his tenants. In Colony Cove, they said he pulled back the security, removed a gate, got rid of security guards. A resident called management to talk about suspicious activity. There's a lot of drug dealing in the area, and they said, call the cops yourself. James has to jack up the rent on these senior citizens, right? Because how else would he be able to go to 5 NBA games per week and travel for 8 months a year during the season? James can't raise his rent. How can he attract 20-year-old models? Quote from James, being with the young girls helps me feel very young. To say it's pretty embarrassing for the NBA that this sentient ballsack of a man is in their Hall of Fame. Only able to sit at these games off the back of some of the most vulnerable people in society, and he's been doing it for decades.
So these are the people who they kiss the ring. He is to the NBA who the Lammy chick, the lady that looks like a straight warlock witch, who ASAP Rocky and all of them be around. Lammy, right? She's married to Rick Owens, who Negroes run and throw thousands of dollars to for his weird clothing and whatnot, right? So he's the equivalent. He's the crypt keeper of the NBA and the athletes. He's the handler of all the Michelle, right? They worship this woman. They worship this woman in the fashion industry. They kiss her wig and whatnot. So he's the same as that. He has the equivalent. He has the, like they said in the video, his house, where he domiciles is the scene of multiple movies and films and things of that nature. But you already know that they film other type of things in it. I believe even Euphoria was being filmed in his residence and whatnot. He lives in one of those Hollywood Hill crypts. Okay, just look at his face. Nothing good could come from somebody that looks like this. You know what I mean? You know, but look, he's dressing like them. right? He would say, you know, the young people would say he got that shit on. He's putting that shit on, right? He's doing get ready with me videos, get ready with me type shit, right? So this is the crypt keeper. This is the crypt keeper, right? So this is who they are loyal to. Don't ever ask these celebrities to feel your pain and to side with you and whatnot. They are bought and sold for. This is invasion of the body snatchers for the ones that are even alive that you're looking at. The majority of them been switched up. The majority of them are like super clones coming out of niggas like this lab. You dig?
Meta just fired 1,100 people who.
You know?
This is Kevin Roberts. He's not a politician.
I have absolutely no.
The most irritating thing. This is exactly why I told y'all that I was exceptionally concerned about this specific hantavirus outbreak.
The most irritating thing about this fight against good versus.
So like this dude said in this video, man, when you just step back and you look at the people who are in this quote unquote Castle Grayskull, when you look at the villains that are on the stage and whatnot, when you look at the people who are in these positions of power and they are clearly drunk off of power, they are clearly on their dark tetrad, utilizing this is like Homelander syndrome that you're looking at. This is exactly what this TV show The Boys is showing you about these super villains. Okay, nothing Christ-like, everything anti.
Is evil is that these evil niggas is just fucking losers. We as the working class should be completely embarrassed that these fuck niggas is running the show. They're humans, quote unquote, at least, who are anti-human. They are rapists and pedophiles, racist drug addicts who get no bitches and have to beg to be on pedophile island. Niggas with fake abs and pecs and shit. These are the niggas that we're going to get. And then these fuck niggas think they're superior. In fact, they are lame as fuck. Again, no, all the money in the world, no fucking drip. Pick any revolutionary. On my mama, they are mogging these niggas. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about what this white supremacist rule has brought upon this beautiful earth given to us by our creator. I mean, just off the top of my head, we could start with global war, climate catastrophe, or nuclear catastrophe. They would rather destroy humanity than lose their yachts or their ego. No, this isn't as deep, but microtransactions. They fucked up our video games. What has this white supremacy shit brought us? Cannibalistic, pedophilic, human sex trafficking rings. Terrorism, death, murder, horror, abhorrent violence. Racism, rape culture, and rapists. And yes, this is all capitalism's fault and in turn whiteness. Because for capitalism to exist, capitalism's purpose of existence is to have and to serve a small group of people who own and run everything. And whiteness gives this justification, as well as further divides the working class so that this whiteness and this ruling class can be upheld. It's like, bruh, y'all niggas cannot have y'all cake and eat it too. You can't be white and expect there to be any possibility of a better world. Before that, you have to let go of your whiteness, because they're using this white people shit amongst a bunch of other things to terrorize the world. We are collectively are dumb, broke, stupid, poor, abused. Half of y'all white people will not do shit about it because you're white. Which is fucking crazy because white isn't a thing. Race is not biological. Just a made up thing by racists. And the world is burning around you. And you refuse to do anything about it. Because this white supremacist shit has such a goddamn chokehold on you. Let it go.
War, but class war is the all lives matter of the left. Just stop. It can die in a fire, along with both sides are the same. One side has now taken us back to Reconstruction, and the other one hasn't. There are wealthy, upper-class black people in Atlanta. You know how many representatives they're going to have in Congress after they crack those districts? None. People who say that kind of thing almost invariably come from blue cities or blue states. Why do they vote against their own interests? The white working class in the South. If we just give them class consciousness, all these secret Marxists will come running out of the hollers. That is insane. White working class Republicans in the South do not vote against their own interests. You just don't understand what their interests are. They're not economic. That's why tossing a bunch of economic populism at them doesn't do anything. Policy is not the point for these voters. It is not the point. The point is cultural supremacy. Forever and always. That's it. That is their interest. They will vote to keep themselves poor. They will vote to take away their own healthcare from themselves. They will vote to ensure that no person of color has any access to anything that makes them feel less than that person of color.
That's why when you see everything that's taking place in government, the gutting of this, the gutting of that, the closing of this, the closing of that, the crashing of this, as long as them people feel like that shit is being done to make sure your ass don't get up and your ass don't become in favor, and you're getting kicked further down the ladder just because they're noticing that niggas are too close to them, it's too much proximity. It looks like Negroes have been allowed to get ahead in America. Oh, nah, they'll sit back and be quiet and let this bitch crash. That is what you're seeing. Do not be fooled and don't fall for the okie doke. Please, please, they are willing to suffer as long as they know that the suffrage is going to fall on top of your head top. That's what the fuck is going on.
Always. You know how conservatives in America red baited the South? How they got people to think that socialism was such a horrifying, scary thing? By making it about race. Socialism is bad because it takes money from the white people and gives it to programs that benefit the black people. That's how they made socialism bad in the early 20th century. By preying on those racist impulses that already existed and still exist in the white working class in the South and in all of the other classes in the South. I'm not fussing at you, to be clear. I'm just fussing because this argument irritates me so much. And the VRA being overturned is something that people have been warning, that people of color, especially black voters, have been warning people on the left about since Hillary Clinton. And some folks on the left didn't want to vote for her for whatever reason. Fine, whatever. You corporate establishment, blah, 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 whatever. Now we don't have Roe. And now black people in the South will have no representation. But up versus down means, but the proletariat means, but race is a class. Shut up! Nobody cares.
Some pretty significant news right now. You want to know why Donald Trump's Project Freedom ended just 2 days after it began? Saudi Arabia and other American allies rebuffed him to the point where Saudi Arabia rejected and suspended the U.S. military's ability to use its military bases for Project Freedom. That is significant. According to NBC News right now, Saudi Arabia, a key Gulf ally, suspended the U.S. military's ability to use its airspace and its bases to carry out the operation, and other Gulf states were not happy as well. Even a phone call between MBS, the Saudi Arabian leader, and Donald Trump wasn't enough to smooth over the issues. If you have countries like Saudi Arabia saying no to the United States, you can't use our airspace, and what's happening in Iran, that means the Gulf is fed up. The Gulf is completely fed up. Oil prices are too damn high, right? And they're feeling the brunt of it. They're getting attacked because of what the United States is doing, and they're saying no to the president of the United States. That is a defining moment in this war. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
That virus death ship I was just talking about yesterday, well, come to find out, they was not quarantining properly. Let me tell you. Peep that headline, briefly on flight. Excuse me. People was getting sick, y'all just let them off this fucking cruise? Somebody play my saxophones, man. This is not a good sign. I'm gonna find out after I did a little bit more research. Jake from Boston and Company was stopping by the most uninhabited remote islands in the world. Yeah, this has disaster horror movie written all over it. At some point in time during their random side quest, this rat virus move, groove, vibe, slide its way onto the boats. And they was letting people off thinking like, oh, maybe people seasick, that's the flu. No. Rat virus, they dying on the flight in Johannesburg. She was trying to take off to the Netherlands. They was like, oh yeah, she's clearly sick. Now, obviously, she's not feel good. She could ruin this whole entire flight. So yeah, just send her home. And it was the fucking virus, and she ended up being dead. COVID 2.0 on the motherfucking way. Marjorie Air, you guessed it, death. May she rest in peace, but fuck. Now, whether you think this simulation fake, I don't know. But I tell you one thing. That is not a good fucking sign whatsoever. That plane landed in the Netherlands, and we may be cooked. International travel may be shut down very soon, and I'm just being honest. Saying you gotta mind your business, because free will is crazy. You don't even have to do all that. You know what I'm saying, son? Most remote inhabited islands. Let that shit be remote. It's out the cut like Neosporin for a reason. What you talking to them people? They want to talk to you. Neither of them animals. You want to go explore? Man, go explore the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Go explore space. Why you go and explore the remote inhabited islands? Now look at us. Cooked. I'm about to be stagnant, cooped up in my crib, and be pissed. I mean, Detective Elder, I gotta ask, did this happen randomly? Or could this possibly be, a little self-frag situation? Because the shit did leave Argentina. And I ain't gonna say who recently took over Argentina, but it was our greatest liability. So I'm just saying, very convenient timing with that for all of a sudden to be, oh no, new deadly virus released, as they are currently looking like the worst genocidal country ever.
This is exactly why I told y'all that I was exceptionally concerned about this specific hantavirus outbreak. The World Health Organization has confirmed that the hantavirus strain in this cruise ship outbreak is the one that is spread from human to human contact, the Andes variant. As I mentioned in my initial video, the Andes variant is the only strain of hantavirus known to be spread from human to human contact. It is a strain found in South America, specifically Argentina. This cruise ship departed from South America, specifically Argentina. The Andes variant typically only spreads from human to human when there is prolonged close contact. On a cruise ship, you have prolonged close contact. I'm Dr. Frida. I'm going to give you some more details about this Andes variant of the hantavirus, and I'll answer the question, should we be scared? Is this likely to be another big lockdown like we saw with C-19 in 2020? 3 people have passed away from suspected hantavirus. Some cases have been confirmed. And now it has been reported that a passenger who was on that cruise ship but left to go home to Switzerland, he developed symptoms. Once he was home, he got tested. And so now we have another confirmed case of hantavirus. With the genetic sequencing, it has been confirmed that the variant is the Andes variant, which can be spread from human to human contact. It is true that most are not spread from human to human contact, but this particular strand is spread from close, prolonged human to human contact. Here's the tricky part. The incubation of this hantavirus is anywhere from 1 week to 8 weeks. So just like that one Swiss man did not have symptoms, it can take weeks before you have symptoms. This is the conundrum for the people who are still on the cruise ship. Even if they're asymptomatic, it can take up to 8 weeks to know if they are truly infected or not. And the problem with hantavirus is that there is no treatment, no cure, and the fatality rate for this specific strain is up to 40%. The 70-year-old Dutch man passed away. The Dutch man's 69-year-old wife, she reportedly collapsed at a South Africa airport, and then she passed away. And here's the thing, who all did she come into contact with at the airport? Same thing with the Swiss man. With whom did he come into contact? So now, should we all be freaking out? No. The Andes variant of hantavirus does not spread as easily as COVID, and you need close, prolonged contact. If you enjoy evidence-based medical information like this is what I do. So please give me a follow and subscribe.
10, don't take this video too. Okay, none of this shit is making sense. I'm the only one connecting the dots right now. Listen to me. So the hantavirus came from Patagonia, Ushuaia, and Argentina. Ushuaia is the furthernmost southern point in Patagonia. We are in the southern hemisphere. You guys in the U.S. right now, it's getting warmer for you.
Keep in mind, Patagonian just had the forest fires We just came from Latin America, Al Andalus, the greatest state, the vastest state. We told you about is it real in Latin America? Is it real working inside of Venezuela? Is it real getting inside of Patagonia, Argentina, okay, by way of their president who's related to Bibi, right? Burning down of Patagonia so they could move in because if you burn it down, you could claim the land cheaper and whatnot. The grazing of lands through fire to release pathogens and things of that nature. Okay, pay attention. All right, let's go.
Yes, it's getting cold. It's late fall right.
Remember the Germans going to Patagonia, the Germans going to Argentina, the boys from Brazil, the German, they said Adolf was there, the German, they deal with germ warfare, okay? These are the masters of pathogens, germ warfare, quiet weapons, silent wars. Let's go.
Now, you're telling me tourist season is long over. There are no tourists down here. I'm up here in northern Patagonia. It's cold as shit. That's why I'm in the same hoodie all the time, because it's cold as hell right now. You're telling me that a bunch of wealthy people, cost about $20,000 on average to get on a cruise ship, especially a month-long cruise ship, leaving from Ushuaia, Patagonia. You're telling me a bunch of wealthy people decided to go in the middle of late fall in wintry Patagonia, glaciery, cold as shit, to get on a cruise to go through the ocean for a month. Jake, how come this dude Jake is the only guy who's posting about this shit? Where are all the other people? How are you not posting what's going on? Why are we hearing this from one guy? He's an op. So you're telling me a bunch of wealthy people got on a cruise ship in the middle of fall. One, when have you known a wealthy person to want to be uncomfortable at any point in time? Wealthy people don't enjoy putting themselves in uncomfortable places. Why are they on a cruise ship for a month in the middle of late fall, in the middle of glacier, icy, cold Patagonia? That makes no sense, zero sense. What did the $40 billion we sent to Argentina earlier this year, where did it go for? Where's the $40 billion? Why? Patagonia,
Remember,
there's multiple.
America sent $40 billion to Argentina. We don't even rock with them like that. The USA, the people that don't got no bread for nothing, sent $40 billion to Argentina. We don't even rock with them like that. What was that money for? What's that investment? Why are they giving it up to them? And now Argentina's ground zero, sort of like Wuhan, China is for C-19. This will be ground zero for this new quote-unquote game that they playing.
Places in Patagonia this year where they were set on fire. We could trace back who set the fire. You know what country these people are who set the fires in Patagonia. Why are there 300,000, the strongest quotations I could ever make, why are there 300,000 refugees from the I country who moved down to Patagonia this year? Why is Perito Moreno the
300,000 Israelis in Argentina, y'all. This is why they have people talking about migrants coming over here. 300,000 inside of all white Argentina, pro-Zionist Argentina.
largest glacier in Patagonia has been sold for its land rights? Why has that been sold? We need to connect the dots. JE said in those files, bioengineering weaponry. They were talking about it. What was the flag that was behind his play account, whatever station was, his play account, JE's flag that got him caught, that we know he's still alive. Okay, we're putting on our tinfoil hats, TikTok. I am crazy. This is a fantasy. This is a dream I had. None of this is real. This is all for entertainment. Connect the dots. This is all the ice settler country. This is all the ice settler country. And mark my words. Mark my words. No one in that settler fucking country is going to get sick with this shit. No, they're not going to get sick with this shit. Meanwhile, what do they say? 40-50% fatality rate is what they're saying? It always goes back to these guys, and it always goes back to the U.S. government. We've got to wake up.
Yeah, breaking news at this hour. The United States has launched strikes on Iran again. Jennifer Griffin from Fox News has confirmed that the U.S. military has carried out strikes on Iran's Keshem port and Bandar Abbas. But, and here's the major but, sources from the United States military tell Jennifer Griffin that it is not a, quote, restarting of the war. So apparently we're just striking Iran, but we're not restarting the war. Why is that language important? Because if this was a, quote, restart of the war, then they would be past the 60-day mark to notify Congress under the War Powers Act and have to do a lot more things to get a congressional approval to do this. But the administration is saying it's not a restart of the war, we're just striking Iran today. So that's where we're at. I'll have more updates soon. Follow for more.
No fear, Project Freedom is here.
Operation is over. Epic Fury, as the president notified Congress, we're done with that stage of it. Okay, we're now on to this Project of Freedom.
Hey, so hold on. If Epic Fury over, what do we accomplish? What do we do? Just bombed a school full of children, had a couple of American troops killed, and now we're in a worse position than we were before?
Preference is for these straits to be opened to the way they're supposed to be opened, back to the way it was. Anyone can use it, no mines in the water, nobody paying tolls.
Newsflash, dickhead, it was already open. You just told me out loud that you want Project Freedom to get us to the point that we was already at. Before we even move, groove, vibe, slide our way into Iran. For no fucking reason. Now, you say, we just need the strait open back like how it used to be. And then we'll lift our blockade once they just open it straight up. Since we couldn't get it fucking open. And so then we decided to blockade the rest of the world since we were suffering. And now, Project Freedom is to get us back to how we already had it. Do you understand that may go down as one of the funniest statements in the history of the world? And one of the dumbest, most egregious things ever? Epic Fury putting us in a shittier position as a country. Project Freedom to get us back to how it used to be. We are idiots.
Start the free flow of commerce through the Strait of Hormuz under the umbrella of Project Freedom. To be clear, this operation is separate and distinct from Operation Epic Fury. Project Freedom is defensive in nature, focused in scope, and temporary in duration, with one mission: protecting innocent commercial shipping from Iranian aggression.
Seriously, Henny Hegseth, what the fuck are you talking about? That makes zero sense, son. Iranian aggression. We bombed them niggas. It was already open. Epic failure. At least let's start being honest about it, because now Project Freedom, look, we freed ourselves from a cage we put ourselves in. Huh? They responded. Guess what? It used to be fucking open. It was free flowing. No one was getting told. No one was getting bombed. And then what did we do? Why? Strictly for the United States of Israel. And we fucking start bombing them. And now we in a shitty spot. Like, who do you pander to at home that's like, oh, hell yeah. Of course, Project Freedom. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I voted for, baby. I love this. Epic Fury is now over. The only reason Epic Fury is over because he doesn't want to ask to get congressional approval. Because this is a fucking war. But he can't say it's a war. So now it's, that operation is over. Because, they're saying that a ceasefire doesn't pause the days. All right, well, fuck it. That operation's over. We got a new one. Project Freedom. It's like, yo, what fucking timeline and server is we in, son? Like, there's no way.
Let's pull up one or two, and then we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We know you got things to do tonight. We're going to let you get to it.
Meta just fired 1,100 people who exposed what they were doing with the Ray-Ban footage on 6 days' notice. Quick context, if you purchased Meta smart glasses, the footage you recorded, everything you saw around you got sent to a contractor in Kenya called Sama. 1,100 workers doing 10-hour shifts, sitting there labeling what was on your camera so Meta's AI models could get better. Back in February, Swedish journalists started investigating this matter, and the workers told them what they were actually watching. People having intimacy, people in bathrooms, naked, kids, credit card numbers, you name it. And last month, Meta cut their entire contract. This week, the Kenyan company Sama just announced that they're firing all 1,100 of those people. Some of them said that they'd already been forced to sit on their desks doing nothing for weeks while security tightened around them after the reports started coming out. Meta says that Sama didn't meet our standards, and Sama says they consistently met all standards. Read between the two, and the truth is very simple. The workers who told the public what was actually happening all lost their job and were fired. Now there's a class action lawsuit in California against Meta, and the UK's data regulator also opened an investigation. Every single part of this story is true, and nobody at Meta has answered any of this yet. The lawsuit is moving, 2 regulators are investigating, 1,100 people lost their jobs, and I'll be tracking all of this. Follow me if you want to learn more, because Big Tech is hoping you forget by next week.
Yeah, this meta case. This is Sama. Sama is the Kenyans, the Africans who
Investigating this
basically
matter.
created. They have a history over here as Sama. Sama is who OpenAI also utilized to build ChatGPT in its earliest inception. And I believe Sama was involved with the training of the AI that went rogue and turned racist and whatnot. But Sama, these call centers that they have cheap labor, right? Virtual assistants, outsourcing and whatnot, and pockets of Africa, villages where they'll pay them peanuts and whatnot. However, based off of the cost of living in these places, those peanuts are literally money that they could live off of. They hired a whole village, but what they're doing is they're exposing them to all of the darkest and most violent, quote unquote, experiences that Americans are experiencing through their glasses, through their eyes, through POV, right? So POV is a thing now. So you have POV beheadings, POV porn, POV people knocking people out. There's all of these POV depravity, and what the meta glasses are allowing people to do all type of stuff. And these Africans, they're the ones that are getting sick. They're seeing all of this. They're getting trauma, PTSD, throwing up, all type of things that happening by being exposed to the this is like dark web type shit. So when they start blowing the whistle, of course, the conglomerate cut them, trying to silence them like they always do. You know what I mean? Trying to bury it and hide it and things of that nature. I just want to remind the family that we've been talking about this for a long time. I found this video floating on the internet. I think some young content creators found it and whatnot, and they were tagging it. I was getting tagged in the video. So then I uploaded it to my page so the family could see that we was talking about this AI a few years ago, back in 2017 to be exact. Check us out.
I want to talk to you. And it's interesting you use the word Afrofuturism. We're in 2017. We're moving into 2020. I just read an article the other day. The richest man in the world, they say, is Bill Gates. The richest, allegedly the richest man in the world. They say it's Bill Gates. They asked Bill Gates, since he's allegedly the richest man in the world, if he was young, what would he study and what would he invest in? He said, without a shadow of a doubt, it would be artificial intelligence. I keep hearing about AI, artificial intelligence, singularity. The head of Tesla's, like blowing up. Their cars is getting bigger and bigger. More people are buying them. The CEO, Elon Musk, that's all he talks about is artificial intelligence and merging humans with machines. So the big wigs in Silicon Valley is focused on that. They're saying the smartphone is pretty much dead. The iPhone 10, 8, or whatever it may be, just like 3 iPhone versions ago. Every phone looks just like that. There's nothing innovative at this point with these smartphones. I'm talking about nothing.
What's shape and design?
Yeah. I mean, a curve. That's the best they could come up with was a curve. Like, come on, man. Talk to me about this AI. Is this? I mean, they Google and Amazon got these things. You see what they're called? Where you put it in a home and you press
Alexa.
Yeah, Alexa, all that. So it's like, man, they're making a push for this artificial intelligence, Red. Talk to the community about that. Good or bad? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, when you think about AI, you have to keep in mind that our elder, our great pioneer of the Afro-futuristic genre, Sophia Stewart, was the one that was responsible for penning the Terminator as well as the Matrix. But the Terminator spoke about a system that was artificial intelligence that gained its own consciousness and overthrew mankind, and that was called Skynet, right?
So the concept of AI has always been with us. The concept of AI was introduced to us in the 80s and whatnot, and it has progressed. So now we find ourselves in a day and time where that's become a reality. I recently saw an article where an AI program called AlphaGo defeated one of the best Go players. Go is a Chinese version of chess. It's at a higher level, and it defeated a Chinese Go player in a tournament. One of the first times that has happened. Well, this was actually the second time that has happened. So when you talk about AI and you talk about artificial intelligence, you also talking about the deep mind. Then when you talk about the deep mind, you're talking about deep learning. So what they have right now with artificial intelligence is the fact that the computers are utilizing the power of Google, the power of the internet in order to become smarter. So computers are teaching computers how to think.
Well, I don't know if this was fake news or not, but yeah. I read on the internet that some AI, a computer went racist. Is that possible? Is that fake news? Is that real? They saying like one of these programs.
News. Exactly.
What's going on with that? How can
all right. Yeah. The way that deep learning or the way that the deep mind works, rather deep learning, it's programmers feeding artificial intelligence all of this data from the internet, or basically they could punch in the data and program these computers and whatnot on how to function and how to think. So when the deep mind, or when this computer, when the artificial intelligence that Microsoft began to program went onto the internet and began to research the internet, it came back as a racist goddamn computer, because racism is rampant on the internet. So it was saying, I hate niggas, I hate kikes. You know what I'm talking about? It was talking about they love Hitler. All of these things, they obviously were going into like 4chan chat rooms, all of these places, and I'm not taking shots at programmers.
Welcome to Skynet News, episode 12, the real season finale. And as
So
a society,
fast forward to right now. That's in 2017. Fast forward to 2026. And here we are with the Skynet update. Let's just see how far things have progressed from that day.
we are not the fuck okay. I dummy-proofed a library of all of Jeffrey Epstein's connections to artificial intelligence. Yes, I fully understand he did not invent AI. And things like the Turing test, or that there were founding fathers in the 30s and 40s. Here's a list of scientists he worked with, people that visited him in prison, his mathematical contributions, symposiums held on his island with the founding fathers, his AI websites, his launching in multiple countries, all of his projects, timelines to AGI, and our job loss. Now, everyone rallied really hard to have these files released just 3 months ago, in what now seems more like a your side has the criminal, not my side, red-blue political war, instead of sticking up for victims. Because in 90 days, we have messaging fatigue over the files. And my question to you is, how much are you willing to ignore? Now, I've shown you who actually started all of the messaging propaganda 100 years ago. This man was the nephew of Sigmund Freud and the uncle of the co-founder of Netflix. He created war slogans. He sold out his own wife to get his hotel on the global map. I showed you Palantir's funding in 2004. I showed you where Peter Thiel is named as Epstein's close friend. I showed you that Peter Thiel and David Sachs wrote a book together. David Sachs is in this funding. He's also the crypto and AI czar. I showed you this documentary that Ben McKenzie put out, that all of crypto is a lie funded by Jeffrey Epstein, and Palantir's government contracts. And my question again is, how much are you willing to ignore? Now, why does it matter? Epstein was just crazy, right? It matters because he was working with everyone currently in power. And these emails are 20 to 24 years old. Like this one, talking about programs with Google and the CIA, NSA, and Department of Defense. 13 years ago. Also talking about data mining practiced by Google. So when you don't understand why Google is signing AI deals with the Pentagon for military, surveillance, and weapons, I ask again, How much are you willing to ignore? I've shown you emails from Musk. I've shown you emails about Sam Altman. In fact, that Google data mining email from 2013 has Altman, Zuckerberg, Musk, and Gates. And Epstein's tip line into the FBI that got him caught was at an AI conference. How much are you willing to ignore? In part 2, I'm going to show you everything AI was really for, like eugenics and transhumanism. And this article that just came out this week. The Epstein files.
Only two possible causes for the cruise ship hantavirus outbreak. One is common, but the other is terrifying.
Let me let her finish.
Race, eugenics, and engineering humans that run to the heart.
So when we talk about transhumanism, we see this whole movement with clavicular and look maxing, designer DNA, right? Always understand we're looking at eugenics. When you hear this thing about transhumanism going on, it is a religion. It's not just a movement. It is a new form of cybernetic eugenics, right? And Epstein was the brain behind a lot of things. His research is embedded in these organizations and in these programs. These are the programs that are actually being funded to the tune of government money and and private investment, while they gut all of those older programs, like Blue pointed out, with the Great Deal and whatnot. All that old money and shit, yeah, that's getting, they moving that around. But these investments are still being funded and whatnot. So just know that.
Part of Silicon Valley. Join me in part 2 or ignore it.
We'll be back with her. Okay. Good research. Now, for everybody in the building, I'm going to be offering this guide right here. This is a whole PDF that I put together called The Eagle Has Landed. All right. It's giving you all of the information as to what happened, what's happening, and what happened with King Charles, breaking things down for you, giving you more insight into it. I will have this available on Buy Me a Coffee. All right. Also, for those that get the ticket for this 10-year anniversary, we are also going to be throwing in bonuses, such as the first Fear of a Black or More Messiah from 10 years ago. That is going to be a bonus for those that buy the tickets tonight. All right, for this monumental presentation that we have coming up, Fear of a Black or More Messiah. All right, like I said, this is May Day. May Day this month is packed. This month is packed. We have been booked for a lot of events. I'm going to just go down the line. This is Fear of a Black or More Messiah, the anniversary. It kicks off the month of events, Labor Day weekend. And then after that, we are going to be pulling up to Techno Bowl, right, at Spin City headquarters, Techno Bowl IRL. This series, or this session, will be dealing with digital cloning and advertising. It's going to feature Red Pillar, it's going to feature Spin City, and we will have special guests in the building. If you were at Techno Bowl IRL for the month of April, you know that was a movie. You know that was a movie. You got, you know what I mean? We were going all the way up. All right. Shout out to Dr. Vicky Hamilton, who is our special guest. You know what I mean? AI with Roan and a few other Hit Sayu and a few other people that pulled up and supported. Legendary session. So this one is even going to be bigger. ATL, pull up with your brothers. All right. We're going to be tapped in. And then right after that, we are going to be pulling up into Houston. All right. Houston. No, we're going to be pulling up in Miami. I'm sorry. Miami. We will be in the building. We're going to be pulling up in Miami in June, and we'll be pulling up in Houston at the end of May. All right. So Houston will have my good brother Pop Darby. We got Pop Darby in the building. We're going to have my good brother Mansa Muhammad in the building. And my good brother Talik is going to be in the building. That is going to be legendary. But we're also going to be doing Miami All of these, of course, are going to have their own information, their own different solutions. We got this thing lined up. Legendary events. So definitely make sure that y'all pull up. Now, once again, if you're interested in making a movie, if you're interested in filmmaking, you will have access to our good brother, Original Black God. If you're into health and wealth, you will be in the building with our good brother, Heru. This will be a boot camp. So this is over the shoulder teaching. Everybody is going to be getting what it is that they showed up for. And that right there is upskill, upgrade, and information that they can apply right away. Okay. There's no time to waste. And, we got the solution. So we're going to share it. We're not going to gatekeep. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Houston is going to be lit. Brother Talik is going to be there. Pop Darby will be there. And we have more special guests. So yeah, that's going to be our month. And if there's anything else that comes up, we'll let you know. But it's definitely busy. So we look forward to seeing y'all in the building. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your energy today, your attention. Shout out to Blue Pillar who pulled up and was able to tap in with me as I was going through that very difficult moment of mourning over one of my brethrens, King Yuta. Rise and power to King Yuta. You know what I'm talking about? Rise and power to the good brother. And salute to his family. All right, let's play this video, then we're gonna get up out of here.
Okay, let me give you some substance. There are only two possible causes for the cruise ship hantavirus outbreak. One is common, but the other is terrifying. Okay, let me give you some substance. There were 150 people on this cruise, and it all starts in Argentina. They leave Argentina April 11th. The first person passes away on the ship. They said it was a respiratory infection. He passed away. Then on April 24th, the body of that person was disembarked at St. Helena. But then on April 26th in South Africa, a second person passes away after leaving the ship at the airport. May 2nd, a third person passes away. May 3rd, they're parked in Cape Verde. That ship's going nowhere. So here's why people are extremely worried. So the hantavirus affects you through infected rodents, and it's not contagious. They didn't find any rodents on the ship, not a single one. Enter the Andes virus. The Andes virus is a subclade of the hantavirus, and it is the only hantavirus that can be spread from person to person. Super spreader. Causes hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a severe respiratory illness with a high fatality rate. They all had respiratory illnesses. Now remember I said they started in Argentina? That's where the virus comes from. It derives from the Andes Mountains. So the way this virus works is it doesn't activate for 1 to 2 weeks. Kind of like this timeline. Now this virus is spread through droplets and from coughing, sneezing, touching things. And like I said in South Africa on April 26th, that lady passed away in the airport. A lot of people in an airport. So now the WHO is going to evacuate everyone slowly because there's still 5 people that are sick and then take the boat to Spain to inspect it. This is a nightmare. This could be quite the event. Not gonna lie, I'm concerned.
I want to put this into perspective as I continue to watch the celebrity and ruling class worship across the internet because of the Met Gala. Remember, most of the people working the Met Gala tonight do not even earn a living wage. I ate a grapefruit today. That's all I've had. And yesterday I had a yogurt. And I have a job. I work tomorrow and the money's already gone. Completely gone. And whatever gas I have in my tank, I can't even do any deliveries because I need every dime of it to get to the job I have tomorrow for the money that's already gone. There's no food this week for me. There's not a dime left over after all of my bills. And that's just the reality of the culture we live in, who prefers to show billionaires that they are better than the people they are billionaires off the backs of.
So in a nutshell, that seems to be what this argument or this building up of resentment towards billionaires and people of what they call the elite class, which ultimately may lead to some of the quote unquote seeds being planted to whereas we'll see the opposite of the praising of celebrity culture that we saw over the past 40 to 50 years, the blind praising of celebrity culture, the blind worship of the cult of personality. Now, Aries and Neptunes speaks of the fall of that quote unquote appraisal and whatnot. The complete reversal, especially with Pluto in retro, you're going to start seeing some things that are going to reflect the people's quote unquote their non-conformity to celebrity or their their non-commitment to upholding the age-old contract that the public had with the celebrity, and that was to worship them and to not harm them and to not question them and to not look upon them. The greatest analogy that I would say is the TV show The Boys, because when you think about it, the Supes are the celebrities. Homelander and all of them, they are the equivalent to the superheroes in these days and times. The superheroes are the rappers, they are the athletes, they are the celebrities, they are the movie stars. Those are the equivalents to the Supes, right? Those are the equivalents to the quote unquote superheroes and whatnot. That's as close as we can cut it to a Train and a Homelander and the Deep and all of them. You know what I'm talking about? Black Noir and all of them. Soldier Boy. It would be, the athletes like a Stephon Diggs reminds me of A Train. You know what I mean? Shit like that. But check this out. Check out why the artist showed up to the Met Gala and why they're so desperate, because of the market we're in now. Check it out.
Major artists suddenly canceling their tours. Some say they've caught blue dot fever. And well, I guess not everyone can be Taylor Swift. In case you haven't been following music news recently, there have been many tour cancellations. Zayn Malik canceled his entire tour, as did Meghan Trainor, while Dolly Parton pulled her full Vegas residency. The Pussycat Dolls canceled all but one of their North American dates, and Post Malone canceled his first 2 dates and delayed a number of others. In some of these cases, the artists are citing medical reasons. 80-year-old Dolly Parton is dealing with chronic health issues, and Zayn Malik was reportedly hospitalized for an undisclosed illness in April. Meghan Trainor, meanwhile, said she bit off more than she could chew, and Post Malone said he's trying to finish his album. But the Pussycat Dolls were very honest about what is also going on here. Quote, "After taking an honest look at the North American run, we've made the difficult and heartbreaking decision to cancel all but one of the dates." Translation, they couldn't sell tickets. Kid Cudi recently canceled a Birmingham, Alabama show and also said plainly, ticket sales just weren't strong enough.
So with the people already on the ropes because of this grinding down of inflation and all of these other rising prices over the past 3 to 4 years, does anybody, and this is not fear mongering, this is a call to action, right? This is a clear call to action that something needs to be done both individually and collectively to secure the motherfucking bag, right? To make sure that no type of misfortune befalls anybody in this community who have the superpower of having early information. That is your superpower, that you are informed. At least you are the 1%ers, because you are informed with this information. And out of the 8 billion people on the planet, you have the privilege of being in the equivalent of what they will call inside of a what's the word when they have stock tips, you're insider trading. It's almost like having the equivalent to a security clearance, and you're being exposed to insider trading because you can hear about things that are going down before they go down. Trust. You got to take advantage of it, though. That's the arbitrage. That's the moat that you have over everybody else, as you have the opportunity to take advantage of it. but you also have the opportunity to not do a thing. You are not, don't let me try to create no form of anxiety in you. You could just chill. You don't have to do a thing. Listen, we've been doing this shit for damn near 20 years. You think we jump out at everything? You think we've sat back and observed? We like a ship on the water. You could sit back and relax and put your feet up and sunbathe and sun gaze and just let these ships and these things pass on by. That is an option that you have as well. But you also have an option to where you could throw a line in the water and catch some fish. You can also go fishing. You feel me? And it's a lot of fish in the sea right now. Trust.
Page 6 is calling this trend Blue Dot Fever, referencing the blue dots showing available tickets on Ticketmaster. Ticketnews.com explained, the pattern is becoming familiar. An artist announces a tour, sales sputter, seating charts turn into an ocean of blue dots, and then a personal reason emerges for pulling out. So why aren't people buying concert tickets? It's painfully obvious. The ticket prices. Concert ticket prices are soaring, and the industry seems to be overestimating audience demand. But not every artist is popular enough to sell out arenas with $300 price tickets. So people are now screenshotting arena maps, predicting which artists will cancel next. And until ticket prices come down, we're just going to keep seeing Blue Dot Fever.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, tap into Buy Me a Coffee, and I will have The Eagle Has Landed. This is our workbook right here. It has all of the information in it that you need for your research. And definitely look out for replays of the Fear of a Black or More Messiah. Like I said, I'm in lecture mode right now. This month is going to be very heavy on the presentations and the information leading up to the lecture. We are officially locked in. Blue Pill came and he basically he fired the starter gun. So we are on our marathon. We are on our track. We are in our Birkin. I'm switching into lecture mode. When I'm in lecture mode, it's a different energy. It's almost like training for a boxing match. I'm on my Adrian Broner shit, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I'm on my Adrian Broner. I'm trying to lose the belly. Yeah. Training for war right now, baby. So we in the building. We got a very busy month. You know what I mean? So look out for us. Like I said, Houston, we coming through. In June, we will be in Houston the first weekend of June. We will be in Miami the last weekend of May. Tap in with your brothers and whatnot. Rise and power to King Yuta. When we get to Florida, we're going to do this one for you. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to do this one for all of our people who are on the other side doing the good works and whatnot. We're going to hail y'all up, big you up, make sure that all of your names are remembered, and take care of your unfinished work. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the Eagle has landed. We're going to end this with the theta waves. Peace, love, and light. You know what I'm talking about? And we will see you very soon.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sing 3-pointers, money shots all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree in the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies. playing with keys, the Scotch Storch type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my fourth flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blessed.
Crumb TV.